To all of you watching here, come close to the screen and listen. People don't have to like you. People don't have to love you. They don't even have to respect you. But when you look in the mirror, you better love what you see. You better love what you
From all the drugs, the one I like more is music. From all the junks, the one I need more is music. From all the boys, the one I take home is music. From all the ladies, the one I kiss is music. Music is my boyfriend. Music is my girlfriend. Music is my daddy. Music's my imaginary friend. Music is my brother. Music is my great granddaughter. Music is my sister. Music is my favorite waitress.
All right, so for today, I have someone very, very special for episode 12, guest one. We got a former junior national team member, a former senior national team member, someone that has multiple accolades, multiple medals, has fought the who's who, beat the who's who, and is the who's who. My own friend, Deireanne Morales. What's up?
Thank you. Can I just bring you around with me, introduce me like that to anyone I meet for
I'm
the first time?
every single time. If that's what you want me to do, I will always do it. I'm no Bruce Buffer, but you know what? I will work on it. It's funny because I was telling people that you avoided wanting to be on this show. I text you, and I'm like, okay, she usually responds to me, but she knows what I want, and she's not responding to me. She's purposely just ignoring it. And I was like, I'll just wait a little bit, wait her out, let you kind of forget about what I want,
Yeah.
and waited about 3 weeks, and hey, Dan, what's up? Hey, what's up, Seven? What's going on? Like, so the podcast is like, oh my god. But it's funny because like people think that I just bring people out here to rage bait them,
Yeah.
and it's not even like that. Like the show's not like that. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
Yeah.
this is a show obviously to share the story of people, and give their experiences, especially yours. Your experience has always been crazy. Even when you were a teenager, you were sharing your stories with me, and I was like, damn, like that's crazy. I'm like, I remember when you told me, you're like, fuck, dude, I come from the slums. And I was like, bro, chill. You're like, dude, no, we had to take the bus and everything like to Hollywood and stuff. And we're gonna get into that and talk about those things because I think that's super interesting, right?
Yeah.
Obviously we'll talk about the heavyweight champ of the world, your dad,
Of course.
your mom, she's so sweet.
The
And then
best.
obviously and also we'll talk about Mr. Nelson,
Hmm.
Mr. Santa Barbara himself,
Yeah.
you know. And obviously, we have your little sister, but she didn't really like uh compete as much. All you kind of did is you used to post her on Snapchat all the time and antagonize
Yeah.
her.
You
Those
know.
are the funniest things to watch. You guys are a great family. You guys are great to see. I honestly feel blessed that I actually got to kind of spend time with you guys a lot, you know? So
Mhm.
let's rewind it. All right. So obviously, I saw you and met you when you were just a little girl with a headband, dimples, crazy
Uh-huh.
dimples. Your headgear was tight for your head, and you would just smile the entire time and just beat the shit out of everyone. And I'm like, who is this little monster just
Uh-huh.
killing everyone? And the thing is, I didn't even know at that time who you trained with.
Yeah.
Like where did it all start?
Ooh, let's go. Let's take it way back.
All right.
So I grew up in South Central LA, and if you're from California, you know how bad it is there. And then around when I was like 4 going on 5 years old, that's when my parents enrolled my brother and I into martial arts, and it was a school in Linwood, so not too far off from South Central, but, like, in a safer area. And I just remember going to watch the class, and if I have ever felt love at first sight in this lifetime, it was that day. Like, I remember that day like if it was yesterday. So we walked in, love at first sight, and I was like, "Yes, papi, like, we wanna do this. We wanna do this." And boom, paid. We started the next day. And
Wow.
I just remember putting the dobak on, like, doing the class, and we were like, "That's it? Class is over?"
Oh, so you guys were addicted from the get-go.
Oh, big time, big time. I mean, you know, we were kids that were, like, addicted to Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers growing up, so
Like, so when guys would go to the Via's little tournament, were you guys still at that school?
yeah, so we were. So we when we first started, we did a mix of karate, Shotokan karate to be exact,
Yeah.
and taekwondo, like traditional style taekwondo. So we did both, competed in both, but eventually, like, it was the karate tournaments were a lot more affordable.
Yeah.
They were like almost weekly. So we did that for a while, living my Daniel LaRusso dreams.
Daniel LaRusso's crazy.
And then I think it was until I was like 11,
Yeah.
right? It was like, all right, are we doing karate or taekwondo? My dad's like, you guys have to choose one because they're both getting expensive.
Yeah, yeah.
So during those years, obviously, the Lopez family meant so much, especially to like Hispanic kids, right?
Yeah.
So we're like, yeah, we want to do taekwondo. And yeah, so we went over to taekwondo. So during that time, we were still training at Morales Brothers Taekwondo and Kickboxing. That's what it was called at the time. Now it's Morales Academy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we were there, but my dad was training us on the side. And he's the one that would just connect with parents
Oh, yeah.
at
Your dad
competitions.
has
And
the
yeah,
gift
that's
of gab.
how along the way, I don't know if a lot of people know this in SoCal, but the Latino schools, you know, it's like one big bubble, and the parents
Yeah,
and coaches always kind of like help each other out. And
yeah.
yeah, that's how we were introduced to the Vias. And when they had like cross trainings and like the early rumbles, like we would go.
Yeah, I remember seeing you guys there all the time. Obviously you and Nelson were so little. I seen you, but I never spoke to you guys. I just saw you. And I just was like, man, this little girl's just beating the shit out of everyone. And she keeps smiling. Why does she keep smiling? And your dad was this just an intense guy.
And
And
so intense. And we always showed up late because he always wanted to make like a presence. And then
yeah.
I just remember looking at all the parents and the kids' faces when they would see us walk in, like, oh, it's them.
Yeah, oh, no, like it's crazy. So like when you were still there at Morales Academy, well, Taekwondo kickboxing, right? Academy at the time?
Mhm. Yeah.
When was it you're like where your dad's like, we gotta make a change of coaches or training?
Well, he's always like trained us on the side, right?
Yeah,
His big thing was as a martial artist, you have to get your black belt in this like studio. Like we're not gonna
yeah.
switch around. So yeah, we got our black belt for our karate black belt and then got our, taekwondo black belt through
Wait,
there.
you're a karate black belt this entire
Yeah.
time? The
Dude, I
fuck?
was a karate world champion. I'm like, you don't know that side?
Fuck, I didn't know that till now. Shit, I'd known you for
Yeah.
fucking years.
Yeah, I
Jesus
was a karate
Christ.
world champion at a very young age, which was so crazy to me. Um, a kata champion as well, so crazy. Um, but yeah, along the way, I'm telling you, he just connected us with different people. So when he asked us like, "How far do you want to go in this sport?" We were like, "Oh, we want to make the national team." So back then, remember we used to get the USA Taekwondo magazines.
Yeah, yeah. I
And
remember those.
I remember my brother and I would just flip through those magazines, and I was like, "I want to be like them. I want to end up on a magazine, and I want USAT to ask me what my favorite movie is, what my favorite color is."
Yeah, I remember those. Yeah, you guys had the
So my
profiles
dad
back in the
said,
day.
"I don't know how to get you there, but Imma, do my research, and Imma make sure one day you guys end up right there."
Yeah.
And yeah, sure enough, my dad networked like crazy, and this was pre-social media days.
Yeah, yeah. Like, and then that is because that's when you guys switched to Tim Thackeray, right?
So not yet, not like just right
Oh,
off the bat. We were at state qualifiers, and when I was fighting, my first fight, I knocked the girl out.
oh shit.
I'm like 11 years old.
You got disqualified?
I did not, luckily. I don't know what what was up with the rules back then, but I did not get disqualified, finished the fights, but there, it was a bunch of people, and I just remember this group of parents, which I didn't know at the time, and now I know it was, Shan Lewis's dad, Olivia,
Yeah.
like, parents, I forgot her last name, sorry. Um, and that's when they came up to my dad and were like, "Hey, there's a group of us that kinda come from, like, nomad schools, like, and we train with this guy named Tim Thackeray." So then my dad's like, "Wait, I read about that guy in the USAT magazine."
Yeah, yeah.
And they're like, "Yeah, he's training out of, like, UCLA. Whenever you get a chance, like, you should go out." And yeah, that's how we started. But my dad's like, "Ah, that drive to UCLA, like, it's kinda crazy." So we kinda tried it, didn't really work out, and then he left UCLA, and that's when they started, like, the concrete jungle
Yeah. Oh,
in
because you guys were
Fairbanks
training
in Sherman
in the
Oaks
in his, driveway, right?
driveway, yeah.
That
So
is
every
crazy.
Sunday. So my dad was like, "Okay, you know what? We could sacrifice a Sunday." And that's how it started. It was just a
It
handful
was
of us.
you, Olivia Bryant,
There you go, Olivia Bryant,
yeah. You said
Tatiana Nicollet Vallejo.
oh, Alexa Grasso? No, Alex not Alexa Grasso, T Grasso's, right? The Grassos were there?
They joined, like, afterwards.
Oh, I
Yeah.
said Alexa Grasso, that's a UFC fighter, completely different person. Um, yeah, no, yeah, because I remember watching the videos you guys were kicking in the driveway, and I'm like, "That's fucking crazy."
We
Uh,
all came from different schools, different backgrounds, and every Sunday we would meet there. But, as, like, time went on, it's like, "Okay, now we're doing Fridays and Sundays."
yeah,
And then it was, like, Wednesday, Fridays, Sundays, and, we just started adding on more days, and we started going to competitions, people started recognizing us, and that's when the name Team X came to be.
because you guys were like, well, there was a meaning for it. I know the meaning because you guys were, like, exiled or something like that, I don't know.
Something like that, yeah.
Something crazy, but, like, you guys are literally like the nomads of Taekwondo, like, you didn't
Yeah.
have a home, but that was your home now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Team X, because I remember, yeah, Tim had a good team, and I know he started that, um, like, pretty much after he kinda retired from competing, and
Mhm.
he was doing the rumbles at UCLA, which was pretty cool because I used to always go to those because I would always wanna go spar with, like, Luis Reyes or Manny Reyes. Never Tim because he just always beat the shit out of me, but, like, I got to spar with a lot of good people, those rumbles back then when, like, Tim Thackeray is the creator of rumbles. If it wasn't for Tim Thackeray starting rumbles, you know, everyone would, I don't think we would have been doing these things, right?
Yeah.
Like, he made it really, really popular, especially at UCLA, and, yeah, he was killing it for a while, and then after a while, I think people just started, like, overdoing it. It's like, at this point, it's just a money grab at this point. It's just, "Hey, who wants
Yeah.
to go spar?" But I'm like, "Alright, I don't wanna keep sparring the same people. I gotta fight these people later." Like, there's no I can't trust none of these guys, but that's just how I thought. But yeah, I remember you training there. Like I said, I've always seen you run. You're always active. You were at every tournament. I couldn't miss you guys because your dad's screaming like his fucking lungs out and just
Yeah.
going nuts and especially when you and Nelson, oh my gosh, I used to be like, man, this guy's crazy, and the crazy thing is too, like, your dad and I didn't really vibe much at all at the beginning. Like,
Mhm.
we didn't say anything to each other, but you could tell us we just didn't fuck with each other. Like, I didn't like his attitude, he didn't like my attitude, but we just never spoke about it. We just, but like, I never had issues with you guys. You guys are just kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And the thing is, I never even saw your mom. I just saw your dad because your dad's so fucking big, man. He's like 8 feet tall.
Yeah.
He's like 8 feet tall, and just cheering his ass off. I remember every time you're fighting, he's on that cage. You would think he was gonna fucking push that cage over and almost fall in the ring because you're like,
And
Jesus.
he almost did.
But it's funny because you guys get a kick out of it. You know what I
To me, I
mean?
thought it was funny, like, it never distracted me once from my fight,
Yeah.
but yeah, there was a few times he was kicked out the venue.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
What do you do after? Do you just go get a beer and just wait?
Yeah, and then he'll come back in and be like, "What? What?" And I was like, "Oh, jeez, that's my dad. That's my dad."
Oh my gosh. Like, but that man's a legend. If he walks into the room, everyone's gonna know who he is.
Yeah.
You know, no, but yeah, so you were training at Team X, it was it during that time you made national team, or when did you start making junior team?
So I was still cadet. Yeah. I was so young.
I forget how young you were. Honestly,
Yeah.
you were really, really young,
I was
you know?
really young. So, yeah, that first nationals I went to under Tim was Detroit, so 2008.
Oh, at the Lions Stadium?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
right
yeah,
there.
okay.
Got bronze there, and I was like, "Okay," I mean, I was still kinda, like, transitioning into, like, the taekwondo world fully because
Yeah,
I had such a mixed background, so I still had a lot of, like, of the karate,
yeah,
stance and stuff, and I was like, "Go, go, 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 go."
yeah.
So Tim was, like, trying to teach us footwork and how to, like, control ourselves, and yeah, I mean, it was kinda hard, training on concrete and stuff.
Oh, yeah,
It
I
was
would
hard to
imagine so.
develop that. I remember, when my dad bought us our first pair of taekwondo shoes, they didn't even last past 2 weeks. Yeah.
You just tore him up on that hot
Just
concrete.
tore them up, yeah, but luckily, Tim was able to open up his own studio right there on Lancashire in North Hollywood,
Yeah,
and, yeah, after the '08 national championships, that's when, like, my game started changing. Um, and then my dad, placed me in a weight class. He was like, "Oh, okay, this is like the weight class for you." And from then on, I just never lost the national championships. And if I ever did, was because I bowed out because I knew I had team trials,
yeah, yeah.
afterwards. But I've always medaled. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it just seemed easy for you just to medal and just to win, I've just
Yeah,
watched you so many times just win with ease, and I'm like, "Jesus Christ," like, there's just
yeah,
no stopping her. And, like I said, you go to Hollywood, and you guys live in Linwood, right? You guys live in
Linwood.
Linwood, and what was that travel like going to Hollywood? Like, did your dad
Ooh,
have to take you all the time? You
yeah. So
know
we were so young. My dad had to take us.
Yeah,
And then my mom, so in total it's three kids. My parents have 3 kids. We're all first generation. So my mom has that, like, "I'm the wife, Imma stay at home, hold it down. Like, your
yeah,
meals are gonna be done when you guys get back from practice."
yeah.
Both of my parents work, so I don't know how he did it. He worked crazy hours, still drove us, and if like, LA traffic is crazy.
Yeah, yeah, LA traffic is crazy. LA
Yeah,
traffic
so
is nuts.
we would do that, but I used to love our car rides. Yeah, they were long, but my dad, my brother and I, we just bonded so much. Like he would put the Dodger games on the radio. We would just like listen to that on the way to practice. So it was always harder on the way back because if we didn't have a good practice, we were gonna hear it the whole car ride home.
Oh, I can believe it. I can
Yeah.
believe it.
And in Tama, we had the Terminator drill, the famous Terminator drill. And, that was Tim's way of like trying to break the athletes. And it got to the point where Tim was like, "I can't break you." Like, I remember every single one of my teammates, like, broke down at some point, and he's like, "I cannot break you. Like, I can't do it."
You know, I think sometimes people, like, especially you, like, you have this kind of personality where you see the bright side about a lot of things, a lot of things
Yeah.
don't bother you. Again, it's very rare that I don't not see you smile. Like, you
Mhm.
smile even probably when you're mad or when you're sad, you
Yeah.
smile. You know what I
Uh,
mean? So you're really good at navigating yourself mentally, and you've always, I think, been a really mentally strong um person.
yeah.
And because I've just seen it over the years. I've never seen you rattled. I've never seen you phased. And the stories that you tell me back in the day, especially, the long car rides, like, this is not easy. Like, this is all struggling stuff that people don't understand. You know, Taekwondo is not cheap
It's
at
not
all.
cheap.
So,
Yeah.
and remember back then, gas was a little cheaper, but still, your dad doing it, all that driving, and then picking you up and driving you all the way to Hollywood, that's like seriously dedication. That's your dad has really, really supported you guys in the best way possible.
Yeah, he always like till this day, he's still that way, but yeah, we had those crazy cars, crazy years. Then when I was 13, that's when I made my first junior national team,
Yeah.
and it was a breeze, like, I
It was
won
easy?
every fight easily. A lot of people were like, "Who the heck is this girl?"
Yeah.
And I remember when they used to announce like, "Oh, and, Deireanne Morales from Linwood, California." And people be like, "Linwood? Where even is that? Is it up north? Is it in SoCal? Like, where is it at?"
Only Southern Californians know where Linwood is, and
Right.
like, most of us, if we don't live there, we ain't going there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no reason for us to go to Linwood. I stayed my little happy ass back then in Whittier, and I would stay in Whittier, you know what I mean? Proud of Whittier, I live it stay right there.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
then I went to these, like, trials alone. It was just my dad and me and Tim at the
Yeah.
time, right? So a lot of people like, "Where's this girl? Where's she coming from?" Like, that's when I kinda came into the picture, and I think that year I also won US Open. Like,
Yeah.
I was always medaling here and there. We were going to Rumbles all the time,
Yeah.
lots of cross trainings. Uh, yeah. So I always stood out from, like, my own team. So even my own teammates didn't really, like, excuse my language, fuck with me like that.
You could say that. It's just that kinda show. Don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. Yeah, no, I could understand that probably, like, jealousy started kicking in, you know, they're showing your success and probably thinking at times, "Well, maybe Tim's giving her more
And I
attention."
think that's what it was, like, I was dedicating more time, but then, I was also getting the one-on-one trainings, but, my parents are paying for that. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
nothing comes for free.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
No, and for them not to understand that because I have man, I remember one time, this is fucked up. I remember one time, when Tiffany made the first time Tiffany made team at the open trial. Remember the open trial?
Yeah.
Tiffany Kume's team beats the shit out of Olivia Bryant. She's all sad, you know, Olivia's mom always has that mad look on her face. Dad wasn't happy, and then Tiffany's dad goes, "Oh, don't worry, Tiffany's gonna age out, so next year you could have a chance to make team."
Oh.
And I'm like he didn't mean it in a bad way, but I was just like, "Peter, no. Like, why did you say that to them?" And they gave him the nastiest fucking look. And I was just like, "Oh, shit." I was like, "Oh," because, I noticed your dad trained you, but he didn't really coach you guys, right?
I mean, just from the bleachers, right? But he was
Yeah,
louder than my own coach.
yeah, yeah, and I can see how that could intimidate a lot of coaches,
Yeah.
so then from Tim, how long was the ride the not the ride, the how long was it when you and Tim were a team until it transitioned to a new coach?
So let me see. I had made that team, won a world championships. I think I lost like my second fight at Junior Worlds. Came back. I think we're prepping for nationals again. I don't really remember the exact timeline. It was so long ago. But I just remember Tim wouldn't really show up that much. We had like different coaches filling in
Yeah.
like every week. So I kind of had a feeling like, oh, something's happening here, right?
Oh, so he, like, little by little just kinda phased out.
Yeah, little by little. And yeah, I mean, luckily, I was able to like meet so many other great coaches who were great athletes, during their eras. So I really liked that. And then one day, this guy, and I feel so bad for not knowing this at the time, but I was so young. Joseph Salim was introduced to us, and all of the other coaches I have heard of, just never him.
Yeah,
Little did I know who walked into the room, right? Like,
yeah, the biggest fucking deal.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I remember we did a training with him. I was like, this is so different. He's so soft spoken, but his eyes are on everything. And then, they would ask us like, well, what did you guys think of this coach? And I think I was like one of the few that I was like, I like him. Like he's been my favorite so far.
yeah,
And but a lot of the parents were like, nah, he's too quiet, like too mellow. We don't really know him like that. But eventually over time we ended up with Joseph Salim because he
yeah,
also had opened up his own studio
yeah,
in North Hollywood. And yeah, that's how it started with him. The first few weeks I remember it was just like slow, him getting to know everyone, him trying to like, find his rhythm.
yeah,
And through that, like, I just really liked everything all around. So, one thing about me, I come from a loud household, loud family.
yeah.
But when it comes to my training and my fighting, like, do not yell at me.
Yes,
I
yes.
can't really like focus. I remember you when you would coach, I would be like, don't yell at me. So, him and I really clicked from the start. He asked me what my goals were at the time. And yeah, that's how we started. And that's when I would say my game completely changed.
Yeah, that's when, honestly, you just became a real summer force because, Joseph, I've got to train with him and his training was amazing. I loved it. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, you remember he sits down, he has a stick and he goes, okay, we're going to go here, bum, 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 bum.
Yeah.
And then he goes, and then he goes, and he goes, okay, go ahead. And if you start going hard, he goes, no, 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 slow, relax, pum, 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 pum.
Yeah.
And then when he starts realizing people are slowing down and getting a little tired, okay, break. He gave so many breaks,
Yeah.
so many breaks. And I'm like, why are we taking so many breaks? But then it was weird because we would still be sweaty as fuck, like
Yeah.
drenched. And I'm like, I don't even feel like I'm doing much,
Yeah.
But I remember
And
what,
then when we think, the training is like going down, down, and all of a sudden he's like, so now you're gonna do tak, 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 tak. And you're like,
yeah,
what happened?
yeah, he just add like 20 more things. And then
Yeah.
I remember one time I asked him to spar me, and oh my God, he
Scary.
and he was like just messing with me too.
So smooth too.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, what the hell? And he was laughing and everything as he was just beating the crap out of me. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, all right, Joseph, thanks. But the good thing about Joseph, I remember one time I needed help. And I said, Joseph, can you come to Via's and train me, please? He goes, okay, Sven, I'll come over. Just help me just get gas money for me and I'll teach the class. I said, okay.
Mhm.
So, um, yeah, he came over and he helped me and he was with me the whole time and gave me attention. And again, he has his own team, right? And he's coming to Via's to help me to train because the brothers were gone. The team wasn't really the same at that time
Mhm.
anymore. You know, um, you know, I don't know. During that time, like the team kind of fell apart when Damien and Gus kind of took off to Mexico.
Right.
The team kind of fell apart. Master Villa kind of seemed like he was just tired of maybe teaching. I think at the time, and he's letting Chase teach the class, and we're like, dude, the fuck is this, man? Like, are you for real? And so like myself, Gigi, we all kind of dipped out, you know. But like, I think after a while, I think after I left, I think that's when you joined, right? I think you came later.
Oh yeah, that's like my later teen years
Yeah,
though.
your later teen years. Yeah, because I know you were Joseph for a while. I never really kept up with you guys much. I just knew that that was your coach. You know
Yeah,
what I
he was
mean?
my coach for a few years. Absolutely loved it. I loved our gym. Did you ever get to go to that one?
I never got to go to that gym.
That was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. And then, this man had so many like connections internationally. So we would have like Olympic athletes, like world medalists from different countries, like training with us. So I got that like one-on-one, experience with them. So yeah, see, going into making my first senior national team, I remember Joseph said, I feel that Daddy, has a big chance. He told my parents I'm making the senior team. My parents were like, ah, she's so young though. Like, I think I was 14 going to 15.
Yeah,
Back when this was allowed, I think all the rules are
yeah, it's
changing.
not allowed anymore.
Yeah. My parents are like, she's still so young. Like, I don't know. I think she should just, weigh out her junior years. And he's like, no, like she has it in her. So he's like, but she should be homeschooled. My parents were like, absolutely not.
Oh
Like, she's
shit.
never been homeschooled. She's never gone to private school. Like, she's gonna stay in school. The only problem was Linwood is so far from North Hollywood. So for me to do multiple trainings a day, like, it was
Yeah.
tough. So using his address, I was able to enroll into North Hollywood High School
Oh
as
my
a
gosh.
freshman. But this required that. So every morning, this was a schedule back in those years. My dad used to wake my brother and I up because we weren't allowed to have phones,
Oh
like
really?
during the school week.
Oh my god.
Strict parents, right? So he used to wake us up. He was our alarm, 4 in the morning. My brother and I would go run 3 miles
Yeah.
every single day, right? After 3 miles, get back home, shower, get ready. Then I would commute with my dad because my dad worked closer to like the Valley-ish area.
Yeah.
So he would drop me off on Hollywood and Vine. And from
Oh
there, I
my
would
god.
take the metro to North Hollywood. Go to North Hollywood, and I was so lucky at that time. Shout out to Chelsea Alba. She used to pick me up, take me to the gym, cook breakfast for me, and then if we had time, we would do like a light morning session,
Yeah, yeah.
go to school. After school, either Joseph or Chelsea would pick me up, go back to the gym, eat something, and then have my first one-on-one training with him,
Yeah.
take a break, do school work, take a nap, and then I would have the last session with the whole team.
Okay, okay.
And then for most days, because my brother had to take my brother, right, for the team training,
Yeah.
we would go back in the car with him, but there's some days my dad, like, was working late or my mom couldn't pick us up or another family member couldn't, so we would have to take the metro back. So we're getting
Oh,
back home, like, 10, 11 at night, and I had
oh
to
my
repeat
gosh.
everything the next day, yeah. So I did that for 1 whole school semester,
Yeah.
went to team trials, and I kept falling asleep, like, in the holding area after every match.
Yeah.
And, I made my first senior national team, which was the Pan American Games
Oh, I
team.
remember that. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, I remember that.
That was the first team I made, and, yeah, it caught a lot of people off guard. It didn't catch me off guard, it didn't catch my family, my coach. I think Joseph was like, "Oh, wow, like, you really convinced my parents," and then he was telling my parents, like, "Yeah, but her falling asleep like that and the whole," like, I remember he told them, "She was out, like, out cold." Like, I literally had to, like, push her and tug her, and he's like, "It's not healthy for her." Besides that, like, she's cutting weight.
Yeah.
So then my parents are like, "Okay, she's gonna be homeschooled."
Oh, so they did homeschool eventually.
Eventually, yeah, they agreed to it. Yeah,
Okay. What about
but they
Nelson?
were no,
Ah,
not
damn.
him. Yeah, it was just me because I was already in high school, he was still middle school.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, so my parents are like, "Okay, yeah," but as soon as her grades go C or lower, like, we're putting her ass back
Yeah,
in school, a regular school. So, yeah, I did that, and, yeah, I would take the metro by myself. During the summers was a lot better because I had my brother to join me. But, yeah, it was, cool experiences, lots of medals along the way, and then it wasn't until, like, let me see, making the 2011 senior national team. Was it 2011? For World Championships? That was a tough
that
one.
was Korea.
Korea, yeah. So,
I was there.
yeah, leading up to it, right, I'm already homeschooled, my family's making the sacrifices, so I don't even get to spend time with my parents anymore. They're
Yeah,
spending crazy amount of money. And, my mom's upset 'cause she's like, "We don't get family time anymore, I don't get to see my kids, I barely get to see my husband." Everything going into uniforms, training, travel, meals. Going into that trials, I had so much pressure on me.
yeah,
Hearing it from my parents, hearing it from my coach, hearing it from my family. Like my family, they would sell food so we could raise enough money so I could go to these competitions.
yeah.
And I go in losing my first 2 fights.
No.
Yeah, and I was like, "What the heck is going on?" Like, I lost both fights done by one point, right? And I just remember my dad's, like, shaking. He's like, "Your mom wants to talk to you on the phone." My mom's, like, going off on me in Spanish. She's like, "We didn't make these sacrifices for nothing. I need you to go out there." And I was like, "Okay." And then my dad was like, "What's going on?" Like, he's reviewing the fight with me. He's like, "You could have done this, you could have done it." It's like, "Dang." So I would, like, look over at my coach, at Joseph, I'm like, "Save me." And he was just, like, disappointed himself too, like, "Dang, all these sacrifices, like, all these promises I made to her parents." And in that moment, I was just looking around and I was just, "Damn, this really is a solo sport."
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Like, it really is. And, I just had that talk with myself and, like, "Deireanne, you are so much better than these women in here." Like, yeah, there's Olympians, yeah, there's world champions, but, like, you know what you have, like, you know where you come from, like, "Girl, let's wake up, let's do this." And, I put in my prayer and, yeah, I think that day I had a total of 9 fights. It was
yeah.
crazy. And then, yeah, I might have lost the first 2, but then the 7 after,
Came
I
back
just
and won
won
the whole thing.
won the whole thing.
Who'd you beat to make team?
I think in the final, I fought Danielle Pelham.
No. The
Yeah.
world champ? 2009 world champ?
Yeah.
You know what's funny?
Yeah.
I tried to get her on the podcast as well, and I'm
Uh-huh.
friend you remember do you know John Mark Cortez?
Yes, I do, yeah.
So John Mark and I are friends, and we talk, and he loves the podcast, and I told him, I said, "Dude, let me get Danielle Pelham," and he goes like, "I'll try." Because he thought I think she would be good for the show, but she's
Mhm.
retired, she won't do it at all, she won't even budge, you
Uh,
know? I tried so many times, to bug her, and I kinda wanna reach out to her dad, but if she doesn't wanna do it, then I don't have her number, so I can't really
unfortunate.
talk I can't wait 3 weeks and call her like the way I called you,
Oh.
Yeah, so after 2011, because I was in Gyeongju, Korea, because I was there
Yeah.
for that one, Gyeongju, Korea, which was funny because during that time, before that, I had just went to Korea Open, like, right before that, and
Mhm.
I fought bantamweight because I was like, "Fuck it, I'll fight bantamweight, I don't give a shit," and I got to quarterfinals. So I was like, "Okay, I'll just fight bantam at Worlds then, fuck it, who cares?" I got the shit kicked out of me, way different game. I was like
Same.
I drew Azerbaijan first, and, like, he beat the shit out of me, and then, like, the next, like, month I saw him or the next few months, passed, I saw him at US Open as a lightweight, and I was like, "There's
Ooh.
no way, dude, like, this guy's
Yeah.
fucking huge." So, he scared me from the get-go because you know how we started with the whole adjust system?
Yeah.
And when you test it, he whacked the shit out of me and knocked the wind out of me, so after that, I was just not even in it no more. I was
Those
just
were
like
some thick hogos too.
yeah, dude, he hit the shit out of me, and I was like, "Bro, what the hell?" And you know me, I tried, but it just no prevail.
Yeah.
There was nothing I could do about it. So,
Yeah.
but those were the good times, so 2011, no. Well, 2012, that should have been Olympic trials.
Yeah, so I make it all the way to it was so weird how it was, and I blocked out so many my taekwondo years out of my brain for so many years, so, you're gonna have to help me out here, but yeah, it was like I swear it was like 3 different trials in one, like, we
Yeah.
were in Colorado, like, every freaking month. That's what it felt like.
I remember I think I've seen you one time when I know one time the Vias and I, we drove out there one time because we didn't have obviously, we don't have money, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's like we're kinda all the same. None of us had really had money, and, I remember one time we had to drive I wasn't even fighting. The Gus came up to me and he goes, "Hey, we're gonna go to trials, but we need help driving. Can you come with us?" And we
Mhm.
had to drive all the way to Colorado. I hated it.
I bet.
I hated it so much.
Yeah.
Like, my patience, especially with, like, a bunch of dudes in a car, is not the greatest. Like, you know me, I'm always laughing and joking around, but when I've
Mhm.
had it, I've had it, and I'm just like yeah, it was bad. Having to deal with a hungry Gus and a hungry Damien and, oh, man,
I can
just
imagine, yeah.
2 pissed off guys, I'm just, like, not enjoying myself. So, 2012, okay, so you have Olympic trials.
Yeah, so
Um
I make it through the first round, qualify for the second one, make it to the finals, and then I lost I don't remember if it was, like, OT or literally, like, last second to, Danielle Holmquist? I don't
oh,
probably
from
said
Peak
her
Performance.
from Pete.
From yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I lost, but I was so proud of myself, like, "Holy shoot, dude. I'm 16 years old. I made it this far." I remember the Colorado Gazette, they, like, interviewed me, like, everyone thought of, like I remember I got a standing ovation. Like, yeah, I
Re
lost, but I was just like, "Oh," and then, she ended up losing to Diana Lopez on the following I think they had to go back again, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And, yeah, she ended up losing. But that boosted my confidence so much, and, yeah, from then on, I remember, ESPN reached out to me.
No way, ESPN?
Yeah.
Did you interview with them?
Yeah, so I was voted, they didn't rank us specifically, but, uh, top 18 athletes under the age of 18.
No way, I gotta look that up.
Yeah.
You've never told me this before.
I don't really brag about stuff like that.
You're a dork. I don't really brag about that. Oh my gosh. All the times I've been around you, you never mentioned that once
Yeah.
at all. Not even your dad has mentioned that to me, which is
Yeah.
crazy. And so 2012, and at this time you're still with Joseph, right?
So with Joseph, yeah. Um, then I have my Pan Am Games medal as well.
Yeah,
Um,
which is right
then I
behind you.
right behind me. Yeah. Um, like Junior Pan American Championships. Oh yeah, that's so crazy. The Pan Am Games. I had Junior Pan Am Championships. I remember 1 week and the week after, like days after, I had Pan American Games.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I remember Junior Pan Ams was in Vegas, Pan Am Games was in Guadalajara, and
You won the
that
junior Pan Ams, didn't you?
I won Junior Pan Ams, yeah.
And then you went straight to senior, well, to Pan Am Games, which is a huge fucking deal.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And I'm pretty
and
sure
got
after that,
bronze, and yeah, I remember I was the first one to medal for Team USA. So I fought, like, the first day, and, luckily, like, the rest of the team, I medaled, but remember during those years, it was like they're trying to see which division was gonna make it, right?
yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, there was a lot of tension within the team, and then just me being young, and most of them, you were either peak or you were either whatever other
Oh, elite.
group or team elite, yeah, something.
And
So,
you were just the
always the
outsider.
outsider. Even with, the USAT coaches at the time, I just never felt comfortable with any of them.
Yeah,
None of them cared to, like, get to know me, and the same with my teammates. With junior national team is different, right? Like, we're all young, we're all kids, but at the senior level is different because, like, it's serious. Everyone wants USAT to pick their division, they wanna qualify their weight class, so yeah, with on seniors, I always felt, like, lonely.
yeah,
I know I always looked happy. If you probably were to ask people, they'd be like, "She was so young and happy, like, she was always smiling." But, I just wanted someone there, like, to guide
yeah,
me.
yeah,
Because at this point, during those years, my parents could not travel out internationally,
yeah.
so I did not have a support system.
So it's just you by yourself.
It was just me, and, I guess my parents noticed that, so my dad would talk to Joseph and be like, "Hey, we're gonna pay for your flight and stuff. Just be out there and cheer her on."
Okay, that's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's good support right there. Just anything to keep you comfortable. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
can only imagine you being a teenager, a young teenager, and you have to be with all these adults and these coaches and all these people that have been around each other years before you came around.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
again, you're the new kid on the block, and now you already made a splashy medal, and they're probably worried the fact that you're gonna take their Olympic spot.
Yeah.
So you got all these
Yeah.
people that think that you're thinking that maybe they're my friends, maybe they're not.
Yeah.
Who would coach you most of the time when you would go out?
I had a different coach every time.
No way.
So
Okay.
you would think, like, dang, like, this is her 6th national team. You would think they would know who to pair me up with.
Yeah. So like,
They just didn't.
let me guess. You went Gene, Juan. Who else?
I only
Sherman.
got Juan my last year.
Oh, really?
Because remember, he always had his athletes on the team. So, I mean, I had most years I was at flyweight,
Yeah.
high bantam, so he always had someone else, whether it was another guy fighting that day or so it was never me, but yeah, I just never really found my click like that.
Yeah. You.
I
So
just
you're
go
just again. You're always
I
the
would just go
outsider.
out there and do me, if anything, I would click more with, like, the international athletes, but coaches
Yeah.
from other countries, because they would actually come and give me my flowers,
Yeah. Yeah.
but within, like, USAT, it never felt that way.
Yeah. USAT. Honestly, even till this day, I don't think no one's really out there to help each other. It's just what they can get out of
Right.
the situation. Obviously during your time as a junior team member, USAT used to fund the kids, and you got a full ride. Because I remember when you made junior team when I was with you, you got right away. You got a sweater, you got shirts, you got hats, you got beanies, you got everything,
Yeah,
and
all Nike'd out head to toe,
all Nike out
flights
head to
paid
toe.
for, hotel paid
And
for.
yeah, they don't do that no more. They like obviously they probably give them uniforms and stuff, but as far as flights and all that, and like they got to pay their own way, which really sucks now, right? And then
Yeah,
USAT's out there spending all kinds of money on all these coaches, but then yet the results are just like you know um under how do you say let's just say like the effort's really underdeveloped right now. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
you know, we got Daehun Lee now as a coach, and we got Gareth Brown and we got Paul Green. Why do we have 3 foreign coaches? I don't know. How much does that cost? They're not coming here for chips, you know what I mean? They're coming here for a lot of money because they got families and all that stuff. So all those things
Right.
do cost money. So that's already probably a big chunk going to them.
Mhm.
And then you got Lambden, who I don't know what he's really there for. Honestly, there's maybe good vibes. I'm not sure. I'm not too sure what he's there for. Obviously they got Nikki on there now, but they just need a woman on the team, and she was the only one that applied. So
Yeah.
it's kind of a crazy situation because I think there's so many other coaches that are available, and maybe some coaches honestly don't want it, right? Like there's nothing wrong with that, but
Mhm.
man, like everyone complains, but then none of these people want to step up and do anything about it.
Yeah.
And obviously, thank God you're retired because if you were part of USAT right now and you're on this podcast, most likely you're never gonna get freaking chose again. You probably get blackballed, because
Uh-huh.
um, some of them actually do listen to this podcast and they probably mark everything I'm saying. But
Mhm.
I'm not just talking shit. I'm talking straight facts. These are things I'm reading, you know, on the internet. And on the second half of this episode, like Jade is actually gonna break down the financials of what's going on. And
Right.
she's really good at that. So she's already preparing that and she's gonna have that ready. So that's gonna be really interesting to hear later. Um, but it's just really important that the fact that, these kids they don't have a country that backs them anymore. It's not the same.
Mhm.
Imagine if for you already spent all this money training, traveling, train rides, all anything to get to practice, private lessons. All you do again, you're not even you're barely 16 at the time, and you've already lived life more than anyone else.
Yeah. Sure did.
And and the thing is, imagine if if your parents had to pay for you to go to your tournaments, they would say, "Fuck this, like we're good."
Yeah.
Unless you really wanted to go, they'll do everything to get you there. But most of the
Oh,
time,
for
they're like,
sure, they would make all the sacrifices.
yeah,
Yeah.
but eventually they'll just be like, Deireanne, like this is hurting us, this is killing us. And I knowing you'd be like, okay, I'll walk away, but then we lose our best athlete. Now we got
Mhm.
to deal with the second best or the third best, because I'm a big believer that all the athletes that are probably the future don't come from the most wealthiest backgrounds,
Mhm.
because they're hungry. You want to do something. Again, you wanted to be the girl in the magazine. That was you.
Yeah.
You wanted to ask, well, what's my favorite movie? What's your favorite food? What do you like to do with your friends? You want to be asked those questions.
Yeah.
Again, you inspired to do that. Now, again, not everyone that is financially backed by their parents is the greatest athletes.
Mhm.
I think the only one I've seen that's probably really, really, really good, that's probably got a lot of help is CJ. That's
Mhm.
it, his mom, she has a really good job and, but he puts in the work. So I give him that. He puts in
Yeah.
the work and he gets out there. Obviously the way taekwondo is these days, I hate the way it looks. It's just horrible. It's just ugly. Looks hideous, you know.
Yeah.
There's they don't have the there's no more game plan really. It just kind of seems like legs are just being thrown everywhere. Um, you know, I don't know. I just don't feel it. Like, have you watched any of it lately?
The last thing I watched was the Olympics.
And what'd you feel about that?
I got emotional, one, just to see how different it looked,
Yeah,
but it was like a bittersweet emotional, like, wow, it looks so beautiful, right? Because I mean, as a martial artist, you just have so much respect for the sport, for the
yeah,
art of it. You're like,
yeah,
"Wow, it's so beautiful," but then I'm like, "Dang, it wasn't like, 2004 Olympics or like 2008 Olympics or even 2012 Olympics." Like, it was not like that. It's a whole completely different, like, style.
yeah.
And then just the athletes themselves, like, just didn't even look happy.
Yeah. No,
Like, I was
you're
like, "Dang, did we used to look that skinny fighting?" Like, like, how a
yeah,
lot of these athletes just don't look healthy, mentally or physically.
Because we probably weren't, honestly, to be honest
Yeah,
with
we
you.
were, yeah. See, and
Yeah,
I
well,
didn't figure that out until, after I left the sport, like, how much the sport does take a toll on us.
yeah, I still have my aches and pains in my legs,
Yeah.
my calves are just destroyed because I got all kinds of knots from taekwondo, from running, jumping, all this
Mhm.
stuff, and, trust me, my ankles hurt sometimes, but that also just comes with getting old, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Um, so, you know, during the time, obviously, you made this amazing run.
Mhm.
You kinda disappeared. In my eyes, you disappeared a little bit, and then I think you were still competing, but maybe I wasn't paying attention, right? And
Yeah.
then I was doing my own thing, and then I go to Canada, and you're there. I was
Yeah.
like, "What are you doing
Yeah,
here?"
so
You're
I
like,
think during those years, right, that's when it's like, oh, you have to, like, go out to international tournaments and compete and get points,
"Yeah,
right? This was all like, getting ready, right, for 2016, I wanna say, Olympics, or even before, I don't really remember too well, but yeah, so my dad's like, "Alright, well, you're gonna have to start going to international tournaments, I guess, to start ranking up these points," and yeah, luckily, I'm telling you, my dad was so good at networking. He had a friend that would worked for an airline company,
yeah."
so I would get standby tickets.
I did the same thing, don't worry
Yeah.
about it.
So I was able to travel, but again, I told you, my parents couldn't go out with me internationally, so I would go by myself. They would book a hotel for me. "Here's $100, make it through the weekend, get back safely."
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, think about it, you have to still probably cut weight when you're there, so you're not trying to eat much 'cause you still gotta
Yeah.
weigh in. So,
I was like during those years, I was, like, okay with my diet, so I with the most I had to come is maybe 2, 3 pounds, 5 if I was doing bad, but I was doing pretty good because yeah, during those years, Joseph Salim was offered a job for Team GB,
yeah, I remember he left.
so he left. He did leave us in the hands of his brother, um, Gergely Salim, and
Yeah.
again, complete switch up. I have respect for him, what he accomplished as an athlete, as a family man, and he did do pretty good, with his athletes as well. It's just never really clicked. We never really clicked.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's okay. Like you don't have to click with every coach.
yeah.
So, we kind of made the decision as a family, like we don't want to be there anymore. So we were training out of my garage, the Vias when they were in town, like we would go out and train with them. So it was like a lot of back and forth. Whoever welcomed us in, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, which
it was like
anyone
that.
would
So
anyone would take you guys in.
I didn't really have a coach, right?
Yeah.
So my dad would be like, if you go there, find someone you feel comfortable with. So crazy. 17 now at this point. And yeah, I just remember being kind of open. I was like, dang. I was like, my boy, we got California in the house. I trust him. And I remember I go up to you and then you were like, me? Like you want me to coach you? And I was like, yeah. And then yeah, you coached me and then it was so funny. I don't know. I think my pants ripped or they didn't allow the pants I was wearing or
Yeah, no,
something.
you had, like, I think Nike pants, and they didn't allow it.
Oh, something like that,
Something
right?
like that, and I think I had to get you new pants, right?
Yeah, like you were literally going around the holding area. Like anybody got pants that fit her.
Yeah, yeah. No, I
And then
remember that,
it was
yeah.
fun. I just remember you kinda asked me like, "Okay, like, how do you wanna go about this?" So I was like, "Don't yell at me. Just, like, keep my head in the game, make sure I'm having fun." And yeah, it was cool until
You fell
I
on
think,
your
like,
head.
it was a semifinal or something, I fell.
Yeah, I
Those
remember you
mats were
hit your
so
head.
slippery. Yeah, I
You
fell.
I
My
think you won your first one, right? You won one, and then you lost the next one, but you fell on your head.
Yeah.
I remember you hitting your head hard.
And, like, it
Like
bounced like a ball, like, boom,
yeah,
boom.
yeah, I remember watching, I was like, "Oh, shit." And you finished the fight like a G, but, like
I just remember telling you, like, what happened, and then you were like, "Let's go straight to,
yeah, let's go
like,
straight
the
to
doc
medic.
somatic," yeah, and yeah, I was there for, like, a while.
Yeah, no, I remember Damien was like, "What happened?" I'm like, "Dude, she fell on her head, like, she slipped and fell on her head."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, I gotta go now." And then
Yeah,
I
and
remember
then
I
he
got
kinda, like, took over, shout out to the Vias again.
yeah,
They always, like,
he
get
stayed there
better.
with you because I was with, I had my own athlete there too because I was with Mitchell Agapito, and
Mhm.
then but I also that was during the time I was training with Peter Lopez
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
because Jesus Almendarez coached me at that event. Yeah, Jesus Almendarez coached me at that event. So, I remember that, and then yeah, I remember coaching you, and I was just like, all right, well, see you later. And then I didn't see you or talk to you probably for like a few months, but we never really spoke.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We just see each other and like, oh, hey, what's up? And then I just remember one day I'm at work at PTTC, and I think you hit me up on Facebook, I think, or something. Yeah,
Probably.
you hit me up somehow. I can't remember. You're like, hey, can we come by and train? And I'm like, yeah, yeah, come by. And you and Nelson come with your dad, and then you guys trained or whatnot. And then I remember your dad, the intense guy that he is. Um, he's like, oh, can we talk in the office? And I'm in there with all three of you, and he's like, so let me be honest, you're not my first choice. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, like this dude is a beast. I said,
Uh-huh.
okay. I said, okay. He goes, but Deireanne said that you coached her and you did a really good job, so I trust my daughter. Um, but the what sold it for me is I guess Cheyenne Lewis's dad, Jason, I guess was speaking to your dad and told him to come with for you guys to come with me. And which I was kind of shocked because I didn't really like him either,
Yeah.
And he was very abrasive, but I guess for him to see past, all the silly shit I say and all the goofy things I do. Obviously when I locked in and I was ready to go. And then since then, yeah, like you guys came with me and it was pretty cool because we kind of became like a little family.
Yeah.
And I started coaching you guys. You were already Darianne when I got you, so I never take credit for that. I just glad I got to share those moments.
Mhm.
You made you made junior and senior team with me, right? No, you made
Yes.
you made junior
Junior
team.
team
Junior team?
and the senior champion,
And then you won
national champion or
nationals.
yeah,
Yeah,
national.
with
Yeah.
me. Yes, and then, yeah, and then but the major thing was we were talking about is Nelson. Like, everyone was like, "When is Nelson gonna break through? When is Nelson gonna break through?" And, you know, Nelson, I think he was a hard fighter. Like, the guy I don't say he was reckless, but he would just throw that leg with reckless
Mhm.
abandonment. So and sometimes I'm like, "Is he aiming or what is he doing?" And I remember telling him, "Dude, you don't have to do all that stuff, dude. Just pick your shots. Just move." And he listened actually really well, and he did a good job. Um, our only hardest fight was Shiwa. And I
Mhm.
remember the excitement on your face. I remember your dad. I I remember your dad how happy he was because he finally did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he finally did it. Like I think that was like your dad's biggest thing. It's like, oh, Darian's doing all this, but Nelson hasn't done it yet. And
Yeah.
then like he finally did it. I remember your dad gave me a huge hug, and he was so happy. And he was like, I remember just saying thank you, and I was just like, dude, don't he fought, not me.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like when the whole Morales and Sven thing started for a little bit. And
Yeah.
then, I would come to your guys' garage and train you guys, hang out. Then your dad would just say, "Hey, let's hang out, have some beer." And next thing you know, I'm like, I gotta get a ride home. But the cool thing, I remember your dad had my back a lot because I would go to tournaments, right? And then like I remember one time I went to Columbia and a few other tournaments, and I had to come back to LAX. And I remember your dad saying, "Whenever you need a ride, you call me and I'll pick you up."
Yeah.
And he would come and pick me up at the airport and take me home. And
Yeah.
never asked me for nothing in return. Even your mom, like I remember it was my birthday and I came to your house to train and you guys got me a birthday cake. It was so cool. Like it was a great
Mhm.
environment all the time. I always enjoy hanging out with you guys.
Yeah.
So
Of
those are
course,
always
of
good. Those
course.
were always good times to
If you
remember them.
ever gotten the Morales treatment, and you know how special it is.
Oh yeah, dude, trust me. If I see your dad, dude, him and we're kicking it off just like we never left. And then the cool thing about it too is like your dad. Again, like everyone knows him as this intense guy. And I remember
Mhm.
you told me one time, you're like, Sven, you're the only coach he hasn't like been screaming, acting crazy with. He's actually just been okay.
I have a funny story. I don't know if Gus remembers this. Um, we're at a nationals, and then it was like my final fight maybe, or semis, I don't really remember too well, but my dad was yelling so much like, during my break, and then Gus just goes, "Just listen to your dad."
Yeah, that's frustration.
Yeah, he's
That's
like, "Just
that's
listen to your dad," and I was like, "Okay." And I just laughed, and I think my dad did get kicked out that tournament too, but
oh my gosh.
yeah.
Oh, your dad's hilarious, man. Again, he's done a lot of amazing things for you guys, especially,
Yeah.
just as a family man in general, and, to sacrifice all that to get you guys where you needed to be. Fortunately, Nelson made junior team twice, um, and then I think that shortly after he had to go to college. So
Mm.
his run was a little short, but at least he finally got to do it, right? He
Yeah,
finally got to get USA on his back, and he finally got to say, "At least I was on team."
he was,
Yeah.
yeah, he was on the Youth Olympic Games team and major team, and yeah, and a lot of people think it's, "Oh, because he went to college," but I think what kind of affected my whole family as a whole, right, was, like, my injuries.
Yeah. Yeah, I
That's
mean,
what made everything kinda.
you got hurt, so that, sidelining you was probably
Yeah.
the hardest probably I know the hardest thing for you guys.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
tough, so, I mean, I guess that's towards the endish area. I don't like to say the end, but yeah, I think I was just burnt out, like, all my teenage years was just training, strict diets, traveling, this, that, and yeah, I guess I reached the breaking point, and then even I started rebelling.
Oh, wow, you?
Yeah, believe it or not. Yeah, because then I would be like, "No, I don't wanna go have a 4th training, 3rd training for the day." Like, "No, I wanna have my Sunday off," or, the night before competition, I would always just stick to myself and be like, "No, I wanna go hang out with my international friends."
Oh my goodness.
And then, I started slacking, as well, like, my diet, like, next thing you know, I was cutting, like, 10 pounds within, like, a short time frame, and
You sound like
yeah, I
me.
think I was just kinda getting over it, but then I was also getting cocky at the same time.
Yeah.
'Cause, I'm traveling all around the world, like, doing all these things, but then I don't really have a coach to hold me down. Um, so yeah, it was a lot of arguments with my parents to the point where, like, I didn't even wanna be on team anymore.
Wow.
I didn't. Like, I was just like, "I'm over this." Like, you guys are always on me, like, let me breathe. I wanna be a normal teenager. I wanna enjoy my senior year of high school, but I couldn't, right? Because like, just, like, imagine every day, like, "We're making these sacrifices for you. We're making this," and it's just like, "Okay, okay, okay."
You gotta constantly hear it.
Yeah, and, uh, Juan Moreno actually reached out to me.
Really?
Yeah, and, he had a talk with me, and he's like, "I understand where you're coming from, but at the end of the day, just remember the love you have for the sport." And I'm telling you, I was, like, done. I did not wanna be on team anymore.
Yeah.
And then eventually I got back into it, fell in love with it again, um, but, the goal was always Olympics, right? And
Yeah.
I after I graduated high school, I opt out to go to college, which my parents weren't happy about that.
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, "No, I just wanna go all in, all in." I was able to find a sponsor that was willing, sponsor my international competitions that could rank up points and
Oh,
qualify for the
wow.
Grand Prix. So I was like, "Yeah, everything's set," you know? Uh, I have, like I had, adult Pan Am Championships coming up, but we had a training camp in was it Puebla or Querétaro? I don't remember. One of those
Yeah.
Pan Am camps. And last minute, they told us that we did have to make weight. Mind you, I was like 12 pounds over my weight class at the time because I did not go prepped in there thinking.
Yeah.
Horrible, horrible, horrible weight cut. I had to do this within like 4 days or something like that, something crazy, 3 to 4 days.
Yeah.
And as a girl, it's a lot harder. I know you guys sleep and you lose like 8 pounds, but
No, not me. Not me.
so it was horrible weight cut. And I remember the day before weigh-ins, I was just in bed crying. My stomach was hurting because it was so empty. I was so hungry, so dehydrated, and I was like, "Why do I do this? Like, why do I do this? Like, this is not fun." Um, I end up making weight, end up fighting, and I believe like my 2nd, 3rd fight, I was fighting what's her name? Emily from Puerto Rico?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She's a stunt woman now.
Oh, cool, cool. Okay, yeah. So, I had beaten her before and, I think I was down that much. I don't know, just my body couldn't keep up. I didn't properly hydrate myself.
Yeah,
And I just remember went for a kick, got stuck to the freaking her hogu, like, the neck
yeah,
area. She fell back, so when she fell, I fell with her, and I literally just felt, like, that hop in my knee.
yeah,
I was like, "Oh, that's no," like, I kinda had a feeling, I was like, "No, like, this can't be it." So I got up, fell again, and Luis Reyes, shout out to Luis Reyes. Now he is one of my favorite coaches.
yeah. No,
Um,
Louis Face is a legend.
he's a legend for sure. I got up, fell back down, and he knew already because he had went through that injury, right? And then he's like, "No, no, you're done." And I was like, "No, no, 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 I'm gonna finish the fight." And I could not finish the fight. I could not stay up. Like it just felt like butter, right?
Yeah.
Like butter my knee, and I couldn't finish it. It got carried over to medic, and I'm in Mexico, obviously. Like they're not gonna tell me, so they're like, "It's my knee swelled up instantly, got purple and everything." Came back to the States, went to doctor. They're like, "Okay, it's not torn, but it is sprained. So you're gonna have to stay off your knee for, I think they said like 6 weeks or something like that." I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh no, I can't." I was like, "I have Pan American Championships, so like I can't." Like, "Well, you're gonna risk it." So what did I do? I kept training. I didn't care.
Oh my goodness.
I kept training and the trainings were so hard because then my dad was also trying to rehab me at the same time.
Yeah.
So then now I'm putting a lot more pressure on my other knee, which is not as dominant, right? And I was training here in the garage with my brother actually, and I we all heard the loudest pop ever on the other knee.
Oh.
And in that moment, I yelled out the loudest yell I've ever yelled out in my life. Like I just knew, like, yeah, that's a wrap. And we went,
Damn.
to doctors, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna have to wait for the MRI. And yeah, sure enough. So I did end up having double knee surgery,
Wow.
and it was hard, like those years. So 18 going on 19. I just went through like a really tough depression during those years. I mean, months, sorry, months. The first few months it was tough after surgery. Um, I didn't want to do anything. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't get out of bed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was hard. And then I guess my family hit them hard too. Like, damn, this girl that was so full of life. Like, she just does not want to leave the room. She's just in there. Like, they would show me updates about all this tournament and that tournament. I was like, I don't care. I don't care. I think just how quickly everything happened, like, within after I reported my injuries to USAT, they're like, "Yeah, you have to resign your spot on the team." Like, I didn't
Damn.
get like, "Hey, how are you? Hey, we could send you to, for you to do your rehab here, or we recommend this surgeon." Like, nothing. It was just like, "Yeah, just send an email. You have to resign your spot." Like this. I'm telling you, it was
That
so quick.
that's cold.
So cold, right? And then, everyone's traveling, everyone's doing this. So yeah, it hit me super hard. And it hit my family hard. So then my parents, that's where like they were blaming themselves. They're like, "We pushed you to that." And I was like, "No, like it's a mix of everything. It's not just on you guys, myself
Yeah.
too." So that hit my brother hard too. Hit my little sister hard, like seeing her big sister, that's someone that was always out and about. So, that injury definitely brought my family closer and it made everyone a lot softer,
Yeah.
you know. And then yeah, within 9 months. 9 months I was back on the mats fighting.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, but during, those months when I was recovering, I was always weight cutting during my teenage years, so my body never really developed, but during those months it did.
Yeah.
So I went from like bantam feather to like way higher, right?
Yeah.
And it was so hard, like cutting back. So my dad's like, "I don't want you to cut weight, because your trainer says like it's not healthy for you to cut weight right now. It's just whatever weight class you're at, we'll keep you at that." It was horrible. My first tournament back, it was like Vegas Open or something.
Yeah.
The Hogo was so huge. I just felt like so heavy. I couldn't like kick the same way I used to. And I
Yeah.
think that took a toll on me too. Cause then, those few months I took off, like everyone like developed their game. It felt like overnight.
Yeah, yeah.
I couldn't keep up with anyone. My speed was not the same. My flexibility was not the same. I tried and I pushed myself, but then I just lost it. I don't want to do this anymore. Like I lost the passion. Everyone annoyed me. Like people that only ever made like one AAU team in their life out here doing seminars, like
Oh, don't even get me started. Don't even get me fucking started with that
like
shit.
all these people like living out the dream I wanted or I thought I had
They're
planned out for
chasing
me.
the dream? Is that what you're saying?
I'm
They're
not saying any
chasing the dream? Is
names.
he chasing the dream? I know a guy who said, "I made team once. That was my goal. I'm done." Yes, yes, that mongrel Chase Graham. Yes, chase the dream, which is he's chasing people's pockets, you know what I mean? Like doing
Yeah,
Zoom seminars. Are you serious? Zoom seminars?
that's crazy.
Dude, like, I want to ask those parents, like, hey, post your results. Are they like your kids make a team? Are they all winning gold constantly? And, you know, the thing, like I said, with coaching is like he's trying so hard to get on like the coaching staff by like having his nose so deep in Gareth Brown's ass, doing seminars and charging like $239 to have 19 fucking people there to show up. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And, you got So on over here actually doing something to DMV Open and trainings. That fucker got like 91 people.
Oh, wow.
He called me. He goes, "Sven, I got 91 people." I said, "Well, that's a lot better than 19."
Yeah.
You know, DJ Curry, another supporter of the show, he had like 60 something people. You know, um, I always believe like, people, when you have merit and you put time in the game, yeah, okay, do some seminars, you know what I mean? Unfortunately, people fall out of love with it, like you did. And I think maybe if you didn't fall out the way you did, you could have started doing seminars and whatever. But
Yeah.
I don't think you really ever fell out of love with Taekwondo because you started teaching again.
Yeah, so, it wasn't really that I mean, I guess during that year, right, I did, but what kept me away from it was just the people.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you kind of like disappeared from people for a
I
while. Well, not
disappeared for my own good just because, like, I was like,
not
"Oh
me
my
though.
god." Oh,
You
not
showed up to
you.
all.
Yeah, with
You
you it's
showed up to all.
different.
You showed up to all my parties. You met
Yeah.
Zion when he was on his first birthday. You were there,
Yeah.
right? When we had the
Yeah, I
hula
was there.
dancers and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hula dancers is crazy
Yeah.
at your son's first
So,
birthday
I
party.
mean, it's just, these people that had, like, really high up positions there, like, had a big say in it, and I was just like and again, having that time off, I realized a lot of the shit I went through was not normal. Like, these adults should not be trusted with minors.
Yeah, definitely not.
There's a lot of things, and then, all the investigations and everything that happened after, I was just like, "That's just not something I wanna be a part of."
Yeah,
Like, keep me away from these people, don't want anything to do with it. Yeah, it's just I was just, like, disgusted with these people that I thought were my colleagues at some point.
yeah,
So that's why I stayed away, and yeah, it wasn't until maybe I was, like, 21? A little bit
yeah,
before 21. Yeah, like, I think, like, 2 months before I turned 21. I was driving back home and I saw, my OG studio where I started, and it looked so empty, and I was like, "That's weird 'cause there's always never parking there." So I pull in, and, Master Nettie Morales was there. He was in the office, and he just, like, sat down. I was like, "Hi, sir," and he was like, "Oh my god, like, you're here?" And, I'm just catching up with him, everything that's had happened. And I was like, how's everything here?" As soon as I walked in there, it's like time had stopped. Everything in that gym, like, it even smelled the same way.
yeah,
And he's like, Mija, like, I'm thinking of closing down the school." And I was
yeah,
like, "No, like, you cannot. You cannot. I will not allow you. Like, this school made me. This school has made so many people, like, into better human beings." And he just brought up, like, my wife's going through a cancer treatment. I don't think I can keep up. It's just me. And I was like, "No," like, I was just, like, in shock, like, "You cannot close this." And he's like, "Right before you walked in, I was actually praying." And I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, I don't know." And I was like he's like, "Why did you come?" And I was like, "I don't know, I just wanted to feel like home." Like, sometimes you just want, like, some sort of
yeah,
comfort. I was like, I was having a bad day, like, I just wanted to come on in, and he's like, "If you wanna come, maybe a few times out of the week to come and help out. Like, I'll pay you. You don't have to do it for free." And I left that conversation, came home, grabbed my dog, went back over there, and I was like, "I'm starting today."
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And yeah, in the beginning, it was a little bit tough because, I had stepped away from traditional taekwondo into, like,
Yeah,
the more elite Olympic style. So, yeah, I was being a little too harsh on the kids, but then I eventually learned, and then
yeah,
that's when I reconnected with the basics, and the basics just bring so much peace to me.
yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
to
no, because you were teaching for a while, and you were there for a minute.
Yeah, I was there for a while, and, some kids did show interest in competing, so I kinda, like, would take them to tournaments here and there, but when they wanted to go to, like, higher up, I was just like, "Yeah, I'm sorry. I just wanna step back into that world." Like, it's so
Yeah.
toxic. So I would recommend them, to within 15-mile radius, there's so many other, great coaches as well, so I would recommend them out, but I was like, me stepping foot into a USAT sanctioned event, no,
Oh,
I'm
so
not doing that.
you want nothing to do with it.
No, I don't know, it's just not really I don't that's not something I think about, but during those years, I was just like, "Absolutely not, I'm not doing it." And then during that time, everyone's doing, like, AAU,
Yeah,
and I was
yeah.
like, "Yeah," like, I would tell parents, like, "I'm sorry, I'm not doing that." I could help your kid get to a black belt and just make them a better human being overall, show them self-defense, but anything higher than that, like,
You don't want it.
I don't want it. But yeah, I was there and I loved it. I got so connected with the community again, and that got me to what, I'm doing now, so.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool because I remember I seen you always post, and I'm like, where's she teaching? And I kind of like would do my own little research, and I'm like,
Mhm.
Morales, and I was like, did she open her own school? And I was like, nah, she didn't open her own school. But then
Yeah, no,
I
so it
never,
was always there, yeah. But, once I came
I
along,
never
because
know because you're
originally
always vacationing. You're always gone every time. I look, I'm like, you're in like some country in Central America. You're in some clear waters. You're like, I'm like, dude, this girl's like always gone in a bikini somewhere. Like, what's going on? Like, cervezas and all kinds of good food and
Yeah.
just living your best life. You know, you're lucky. Enjoy it because you don't have a husband or a kid. So
Yeah.
enjoy it for now. Because when that time comes, D, I'm telling you, it's a whole different ball game. You
Uh-huh.
know, I got two now, and I'm busy. I'm busy. Trust me, I'm busy.
Yeah.
You
But
know,
you
all
seem
those.
happy. That's the best part.
Yeah, no, I'm very happy. I love my kids. You know, they're
Yeah.
funny. Zion. My kids have my personality. They're such goofballs.
Yeah.
They're so funny, and then obviously you met their mom, she's, like,
Oh,
very
yeah, of course,
quiet.
Marty. I remember I was like, "Wait, that's her actual name?"
Yeah. Yeah, is that her actual name? Yeah, it was funny, I was talking to TJ Curry's wife, Kim, um, and I was like, "Yeah, Marty said this," and she goes, "Who's Marty?" I'm like, "Oh, that's what you said. Who's Marty?"
Who's
I was like,
Marty? Yeah,
That's my wife."
yeah.
But, like,
No, I met her when you guys were not married yet. You guys were still early on.
oh, we were early on.
Yeah,
We were married, yeah, so you did
yeah,
meet her. You met her early, yeah, that's crazy.
yeah,
Yeah, no, because, yeah, no, you've been around us for quite a while,
for a
again,
while.
I tell people, I don't see Darianne much, but whenever I have a party and I invite her, she always shows up, she always comes through.
I do.
The last one you
But
didn't come was my 39th birthday party, but I will see you at the 40th.
I will be there. Yes.
That's gonna be a good one. I
Yeah,
can't wait. There's gonna be so many people there. I got,
yeah,
like, 80 plus people RSVP'd.
jeez.
Yeah. It's gonna be
Yeah.
Project X all over again. Everyone's invited besides Chase Graham.
Oh, of course. Of
Yeah.
course.
Oh my god. Oh, of course.
Yeah,
But
but the thing about you is you're so misunderstood. Everyone sees like, "Oh, this crazy outspoken guy," but I'm like, "That's not him at all. That's just the outer shell." Like, he is such a softie, like, he checks in, he remembers things. You're one of the few friends that, like, you actually call, like, "Hey, how are you doing? Hey, I haven't seen you post, like, in a while. Are you okay? Like, how are your parents? How's brother? How's sister?" You're one of the few people that does that.
you know, it's crazy that you even mentioned that because, um, you know, doing this show, I try to show a different side of me, but it's so hard. Again, like what you see on the outside is not what I am, right? Like
Yeah.
I do talk a lot of shit. I like to be funny. I like to joke around. Yeah, but I've always Yeah, you're right. I always check up on people. I check up on a lot of people,
Mhm.
and it's funny that you said that, "Hey, you haven't posted in a while. Are you okay?" And I notice all those things all
Yeah.
the time, even, like, with, like I think I recently did it with Myra, and I'm like, "Hey, you haven't been posting any, workout videos. What's going on? You okay?" She goes,
Mhm.
"Yeah, I'm just stepping away," and, um, I try to just keep up with my people because, if I'm on your side, I'm on your side.
Right.
All the hoopla and all that other dumb shit I say, like, that's just me joking around. I never mean harm by it. And I'm glad that you see through that, you
Yeah.
know, because you've seen the different sides of me when I've been with you and your family,
Mhm. Yeah.
and I'm not even joking around at all those times. I'm actually just, hey, what's up, guys? What's going
Yeah.
on? I think the last time I did see you, I drove you home. Yeah, I took you home.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna take you home, D. And you're like, all right.
That's right, you did. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I took you home, and
Yeah.
then, but that was a fun night. We had a great party that night. You know what I mean? And it's always good to see you. I'm glad that you you decided to do the show. Like
Yeah,
this show, I'm
yeah,
trying to grow it.
thank you. Yeah, I've
Yeah,
kinda always kept the story to myself, like, even my closest friends don't
yeah.
even know everything I just shared with you,
Well, they're
so
gonna know now.
they're gonna know.
You're gonna know. It's funny because after I made your little collage, your little picture, you got a lot of heat. You
Uh-huh.
got over like almost 3,000 views on your photo, and
Oh,
like
yeah.
you're almost like it's weird because I have such the quietest following. I have
Mhm,
the quietest following. Okay, on my dashboard, like, I have, like, 138.2K views,
mhm.
but I only got 200 followers, which is crazy. Makes no sense because people look at it, and I'm like, "Ugh,"
This is
because
stalkers.
it is the stalkers, you know what? And like Damien said, like, honestly, dude, it's always like that because it's just the haters that always like to look, you
Yeah, for
and
sure.
the thing is, like, I started this podcast after doing Warehouse 15, and people pushed me to do it. I didn't wanna do it, I didn't really care. But again, I just like to talk shit, but it ended up turning into something else,
Mhm.
and which is great because now like you get to share a great story, and every other guest I've had has a side of them that people didn't know about, which people should know because they think again like Darianne is always smiling, she's happy. No, but behind the smile, there's a lot of things going on,
Yeah,
and I've known your story, but a lot of people didn't know. And I always tell people like, it sucks because you got these athletes that have wealthy families, but that don't really take advantage and respect it because it's like, oh well, they can just pay for it. It's not a big deal. But then you have, you with a great story. Imagine if you didn't make US team, you wouldn't got to travel to all these countries, do
yeah.
all this stuff. Like it gave you a platform and it gave you an opportunity of a lifetime. You know.
Honestly, I mean, a little girl from Linwood, most kids in this community will probably never get to experience that ever in their lifetime.
No, and exactly, and you got to live that story. You actually
Yeah,
got to create the story, so,
yeah.
the little girl from Linwood, I just remember you and your brother with your backpacks.
Yeah, for sure. And shout out to my brother. I didn't share too much on my brother because 'cause I'm like, that's his story, but, you know this, but my brother was the hardest freaking worker there, like, if you thought I was a hard worker, my brother topped me for sure, you know?
Oh, yeah, Nelson was a beast, for
He
sure,
was
like,
yeah,
sparring him, he would not take it easy on anything. That guy
yeah.
I remember watching him all the time, and we always look at him, and after practice, he's always laying on the floor like he was dying.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I was like, "Dude, this guy goes
I
hard."
remember because he was always so on it. We had a competition, you know, 3 weeks away, he already be on weight, and he would just, like, maintain his weight. I'd be like, "Boy, what are you doing?"
That's crazy. That's
It was
diabolical.
crazy.
That's
You know?
diabolical. No,
But,
but, like
that's how seriously he took it. So, obviously, once he, like, made the team, I just felt like, "You could breathe," you know?
yeah,
But,
you could
that's one
relax
thing
now.
about him and my sister, even though my sister, we have a pretty big age gap, they never felt some type of way towards me or, like, jealousy, or they were never like, "Okay, we get it. My sister does this," like, they're like, "Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, my sister's a 9-time national team member. Yeah, she was this and that," and I love that. 'Cause I would see
Nope.
other siblings, they were not like that.
No, definitely not, and the thing is, like, the close, uh, knit you guys have in your family and your home has always been something that people have recognized, you know? It's
Yeah.
again, watching you and Nelson was little kids, always together, best friends, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? And Nelson's personality is completely different from yours. You're more a little outgoing, and Nelson's pretty quiet.
Yeah, he's more to himself and stuff,
Yeah,
but
he's to himself, but it was weird because he would talk to me all the time. Like, when we're
mhm.
turning he's always talking to me and stuff like that, and, I remember one time the last time I saw you guys, I think it was Mexico, and he's like, "Oh, Sven, I wish you could coach me. Can you coach me?" I said, "Bro, you didn't tell me. I didn't know, like, I didn't even know you're showing up." You know?
Yeah, that
And
year he wasn't, it was like a last minute thing. Yeah.
yeah, and I went to go try to go get a coach badge, and I couldn't get one. I said, I can't, dude. I don't have a coach badge." I went to go try,
Mhm.
and I said, "My bad, bro." He's like, "No, it's cool." I think we found him a coach. I can't remember who coached him, but, you know, um, yeah, I'm glad that, you're doing well. I'm glad that,
Thank you.
you're doing amazing things. You worked with kids, and now you're helping your community.
Yeah,
It just speaks volumes of who you are as a person,
of
right?
course. Yeah, I mean,
And
I love it. Yeah.
yeah,
I
and
wanna bring
obviously,
opportunity like, the same opportunities I had, I want the kids in my community to experience that.
yeah, and it's motivation, for me too. It's inspiration for me because, I want to help my kids do the best they can in their sports, right?
Of course.
And just to hear their stories about your dad and the struggles and what your parents had to do to make it happen, I would do the same exact
Mhm.
thing,
Yeah.
you know? And that's awesome to hear. You cannot not have respect for a man that goes all out,
Yeah.
right?
No.
So I guess
Very
him.
passionate. A lot of people thought I was crazy and loud. He was just passionate. He still is till this day, very passionate.
Oh, I see the post of the soccer games and all that stuff. You know what I
Every
mean?
any sport, but he's just,
And
passionate man. Always had or still does has the most supporting wife. My mom holds it
yeah,
down, holds us down, and, my siblings and I, we're all adults now, but we're still best friends.
yeah, and that's amazing. Yeah, I see you posting a lot with your sister, hanging out with her. You guys go
Yeah.
get mimosas and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My
I
brother
love
just doesn't like to
mimosas.
be posted, but he's there too. He's probably the one
Oh,
taking the pictures.
oh, he's there.
He's there,
Frick,
of course, of course.
freaking Nelson. You know, again, you've made every right choice, I think, in life on your way up. The
Yeah.
only horrible choice you made is being a Raider fan. But other
Oh,
than
okay.
that,
I knew it was gonna come up at some point. Okay, bang bang, the gang.
Oh,
Ugh.
okay. Well, I'll see you at the game. You know what? How about this? We have to do this. When the Raiders play the Niners, you and
And they're playing at Levi Stadium.
I wanna go, but that ticket's like 400 bucks
It's
nosebleed.
because you know what's crazy? I go to these games by myself. I don't know if you knew this.
Yeah, I know.
I go by myself to Raider games. But I mean, my family, they're not Raider fans. My friends are not Raider fans. I go by myself. When I saw that it was gonna be at Levi's, I said, I love myself too much to go there.
You're gonna go?
No, absolutely not. I would not go there by myself.
Okay, how about this? You and I, let's go to a watch party.
I'm down for that.
I'll just go to a watch party. We'll go to a watch party. I I would love to watch the Niners whoop the shit out of the Raiders
Oh,
by your side. I
nah,
would be honored.
not possible. For anyone hearing, I used to whip his ass during training.
Oh my god. The
Yes.
false accusations are crazy.
No.
The
I'm
false
gonna get my
accus
brother. Where's my brother? Brother,
Oh, oh my god,
I he's I used to boom, boom, headshot after headshot.
there's no I no never remember you hitting me with a headshot ever. Oh my god. No, but you were strong though, I give you that.
Yeah.
Just you're
I mean, 'cause
strong,
I
good
always
good
trained with
footwork.
men, remember? I always trained with men. I
Yeah, you
didn't
had
have that many
great you
female
had great
teammates.
footwork. You blocked really well. You had this thing where you would block so much, and then they would stop kicking because they would kick themselves out and try
Yeah.
to think of the next kick, and then you just kick them. You
Yeah,
know?
shout out, to all the great coaches I had along the way, and yeah, it was awesome. Big shout out to CUTA, they were a big help too as well in my
Oh
upbringing.
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're still running strong. They're doing good things. You know, again, unfortunately, sometimes taekwondo. I don't know what's going on in taekwondo, but it can get better. It can get better.
Mm,
Maybe one day if you decide you want to be a coach, I don't know, you could replace someone.
yeah, hopefully.
Yeah,
Maybe,
yeah,
let's see,
yeah,
you know what? I've never said never.
yeah.
So we'll see what the future holds. I just hope for the best. You know, the sport is beautiful. I love it. I think I'm always gonna be in love with it. So let's see.
All right. Well, we're gonna have to get off here now because it's getting pretty late. But
Yes.
we will watch that Niner Raider game. Not the preseason. I don't care about the preseason game.
Yeah.
But the actual game when we like beat the shit out of Mendoza and stuff like that.
Okay.
But Darianne, thank you for coming on to the show. It was
No, thank
amazing. I'm pretty sure people are gonna be excited to hear your story.
Let's see. Don't get too excited, guys.
All right, you
No,
take care.
thank you for reaching out, always looking out for me, and keep doing what you're doing. Let the haters talk.
Oh,
If you don't got any haters, you're not doing something right.
oh, you know me. I got hella haters. All right, welcome back, everyone. We're at episode 12. And for guest number 2, I'm a true badass, someone that actually scares the shit out of me, could drop me with a body shot, probably kill me with one punch. One of the most scariest women I ever met from Northern California, probably one of the scariest moms, probably maybe the scariest coworker, maybe the scariest wife, who knows? But my own friend slash sister, Jade Lopez Villanueva. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I just took a shot, so I think I'm feeling pretty good now.
Yeah, look, you look confident. You look great. I'm actually gonna take my shot now because I could be on the same level. Oh shit! God damn,
Don't
what you give me,
don't say
Diesel?
you're a good liar because I definitely don't look great. I look like a smoke show and not the good kind.
No, no, you're fine. You're fine. You're doing well. Happily married, 2 kids. You work from sun up to sundown, or where the fuck is sundown to sun up? Where are those? Either way, you leave when it's dark, and you come home when it's dark. You know,
That's
we,
true. That
you
is
know.
true.
I'm still waiting to get a job at your company so I can move out to Vegas and we can be neighbors. But that will eventually happen in probably 2034.
Yeah, when
But
we're retired.
but other than that, thank you for finally joining the show. This has been amazing. Honestly, I started this 12 about 12, 13 weeks ago, and it's been going great. I've been lucky enough to have great connections and still have friends like you in my life. And just kind of be around. I know you've been kind of like, I don't want to get on, but you sparked my interest when you called me one day. I think it was one day you were probably hanging out with your dad, and you called me, and I said, "Ooh, this sounds like red face Jade." So she had a few drinks, and she's speaking confidently. I need this on the show, and that's the kind of Jade I love to hear. So let's keep that going. All right.
We'll try to bring her back at some point in time on this show. No, thanks for having me. I mean, I admire what you're doing here. It's been a really fun ride to watch you interview various people that either have brought back a lot of great memories, just new people where you're just like, wow, I don't know who that is, but it's really refreshing to hear some stuff just from faces that I know and faces that I don't. So I think all in all, congratulations. It seems like you're really taking I guess the next steps to make this a really serious platform. And not a lot of people have the bravery to do things like that, to step out of their comfort zone. But I know you definitely have the bravery to do it. If anybody's going to say what they want to say, it's definitely Marty's husband. So
Yeah, not even me by name, just my wife's husband, pretty much Marty. Which everyone, if you don't know Marty, it's my wife. Everybody. It wasn't Sama Hayek. That's just a pipe dream. But yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. This, I guess, again, this started when I did that Warehouse 15 podcast with Juan, Herb, and Terrence Jennings. And after that, I had people just telling me, "Hey, you should do your own thing. Like, it's actually kind of interesting to hear you." But me, we're always when we're around each other, it's just always a talk shit war. Doesn't stop, and then somehow we end up doing body shot challenges, and I end up losing every single time. Uh,
It's funny, I mean, the first time un-taekwondo related, just the I guess taekwondo related too, because there's something inside of all of us that just never stops, like, fighting or grappling or, like, wanting to hit something or be aggressive, and not in, like, a mean way, but just in a playful way. I remember the first time, you brought your family over to Vegas, and I'm like, "Hey, stay at my house. The kids are gonna have a great time." Everybody had a great time, but I think me, you, and my husband had the best time. Marty went to sleep, kids went to sleep, and we'd been drinking for, like, I don't know, God, the whole day,
the
right?
whole day, yes.
The whole day, and I think at some point too, I had, like, an allergic reaction to rum, and I just kept drinking, and I probably was half zombie, half alive, um, but you were like, you know what? You're so strong, let's try an arm bar, let's try this," and then we're all on the floor, like, we moved my, coffee table aside, like, the couches were spread apart, and we're just, like, fighting on the ground, and, you're like, "Hold the hell on, like, we're just playing around, and you're real life trying to break my arm," and think all of us were drunk, and we woke up the next morning and Marty's like, "Yeah, you guys were, like, wrestling all night long." I had bruises on my back. I didn't bruise it from, like, laying on the ground, like, my spine had a bruise, like, my knees had a bruise, and I'm like, not only do I now know I'm low on iron, I know that I would lose on the floor. So I'm like, we might need some lessons here."
Oh my god, that night gave me a little bit of confidence, but it was definitely more liquid courage than anything else. And the crazy part is like your husband Bezo just literally watched us.
I know, we're
Just
just
literally watched.
oh my god, that just proves, like, the people that we married are total genuine supporters, like, how crazy we are, and we just you and I feel like we are authentic through and through to who we are, and without that person that accepts you for that kind of authenticity, I mean, life is not fun. So I'm so glad that our families, stay in touch and we connect. I mean, I told Mason that I was coming on your podcast, and he's like, "Uncle Sven?" And I was like, "Yeah." We're going on his podcast, and Zoe's like, "Oh my god, you're going on a podcast." So,
Well, I'm not Joe Rogan or anything, so but
you're
hopefully one day we can get there,
it's
you
just
know.
it's really cool because, like, think about it, like, way back when we're, cutting weight and, we were fighting in tournaments, local tournaments, international tournaments, all these other, different things that were happening when we were younger. Did any of us stop to think that when we were older that, like, life would be this way, that we would still be friends? And to be honest, like, being
No.
being this close to you and being your friend, honest though, that wasn't in my deck of cards at that time. Like,
Yeah,
I
was
was
definitely
not
was on the bingo cards. No, definitely
yeah,
not.
oh, not at all.
No, young us did not get along whatsoever. Um, but we'll dive into that, obviously, I first heard of you from our good buddy Damien, when I started training at Via's Taekwondo and Taekwondo. Let me say that because your dad's gonna fucking call me and
Yep.
harass me and spam mail me and shit.
He's probably
Um,
right now.
yeah, oh yeah, dude. He wishes this shit was live so he could just be spamming my shit. Um, when I was big training at Via's and I remember, Manila was the other big team up north for a while, especially for the junior division. You had you and you had Chino Cruz were the main stars of that school. And I remember first meeting you, and you were nice, but I could tell you had a very strong personality, right? It's like you just never like wanted to show that you could have any sort of softness to you. You just if you thought something wasn't funny, you're like, that wasn't funny. And like I'm like, all right, whatever, But that's just as how you were. And back then, I always thought you were a badass, a true badass, scary, just a brute in the ring. I just watched you kick the shit out of bitches and it was great. you know, I loved it. No, trust me, I loved it, and watching you as a junior, you had so much success. Was it Manila where you made the first junior team?
Um, man, I think so. Yes. I mean, this is where you have to come into play with my history. God, I got bad memory. I think so. The first time I made junior team, I went to Junior Pan Am Games. I remember that. Or Junior Pan Am Championships. I mean, that was in. Oh my God, was that in Aruba? Yeah, I think I was a part of Manila at the time. God, it feels so long ago, and it just like it seems like I've lived like 3 to 4 different lives, to be completely honest. And
Yeah.
it's really hard to remember. I think I'm gonna go with yes. Final answer, yes. Can't call a friend right now. So say
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, right? And if Master Cruz or Chino hear this and they hear you don't remember, they're gonna flip a lid. But I know you were there for a while. You had a lot of success. You made junior team multiple times, and obviously, again, like you and I, we first met. We were, kind of like, I guess you would say cordial, but you and I have really big mouths. Especially, I still talk shit. You not so much because you're just, you're busy with doing other things. But when I get bored, I get online and I like to talk my shit. I'll say some random stuff. And even back then I did that. I remember you used to always try to call me out. And then we just go back and forth online.
My last nerves. I'm like, if I see this motherfucker on the streets, I'm just gonna be like, "You're lame as hell. Like, don't talk to me, don't look at me, don't wanna read your post," and then I would still read your post and be like, "Oh, why am I reading his post?" It's like a dirty secret I had that I just was so annoyed, but I'd have to freaking read it. Well, what about this? Before Facebook and all that, remember there was that, like, Taekwondo forum that people were on?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
That was, like, right when, like, MySpace was, like, or was it, I don't know, I think it was MySpace or something like that. It was, like, around the same time. I just remember, like, let's bring in Pedro again, Dad Pedro, right? He would go
yeah,
on, he would tell me all the gossip, and then it'd piss me off, and they'd be talking shit like, you know, "Jade is this," or "This person's better," and blah, 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 and, like, those are the things that I think that was, like, my first round of, like, internet chaos, right? So
yeah,
it's just interesting to see. I mean, definitely you have a better platform to talk your shit now because there's no hiding behind a fake screen name or anything like that. It's like literally your Facebook or your Instagram or your podcast. So, um, yeah, I mean, God, like I said, living all these lives, it feels like, from where I started and where I am now, it just shows like how much life can change and how if you don't stay involved in those different communities, it's almost feels like it never happened, like, it's surreal, you know what I mean?
yeah,
I mean, I definitely loved, oh god, growing up with Manila Taekwondo, like, they really, if anything, that school really taught me everything I know about, like, respect and family. Like,
yeah,
it's something that I saw all around me, and, like, it was obviously, majorly, or heavily Filipino school, right? But
yeah,
all about Filipino culture, and the same time, I'm thinking, Master Cruz, who I now call Uncle Henry, is teaching me about how to be Korean because it was crazy. It's like my mom is an immigrant, but, growing up in the Bay Area, like my mom is from the Bay, she's not like this immigrant Korean. So it was just interesting, like getting involved in Taekwondo and learning about being Korean from, a Filipino master. But it wasn't anything that I would ever change. Like, I loved everything about that, and I think it really made me who I was. I don't think you probably don't even know, like, when I first started taekwondo, I was really shy, and my parents would be like, "If you don't speak up, like, when you get home, you're gonna get in trouble, or if you don't, like, do this when you get home, you're gonna get in trouble, like, speak up and don't be shy." And, I went through a lot as a kid, and I just think that taekwondo is like my major outlet. So I think that people who watch me fight, like, I wasn't the fastest, I wasn't like the most creative. I just felt like I just got in there and I was like, I'm throwing bows today and I'm hitting everything. I'm hitting your back. I'm hitting the back of your leg. I'm throwing my knee up. If I might get an elbow in there or, shoulder in there on your chin, I'm doing that. Like, I'm just having fun. And, at the time knew nothing about like UFC or MMA or anything. And maybe life would have taken a different course if I knew about other ways to hit people, but
Yeah.
really what you saw out there was just a young girl who was very shy, had a lot of emotions growing up, and that was my outlet. I mean, to me, that was my therapy. So, anybody who ever watched me and anybody who ever thought that I was doing anything in that ring, you were watching my therapy in action. So,
Yeah, it's like I said, it was great to watch you fight because again, you were a straight bulldozer, you were mean, like watching you just punch people and just you just got in there and mixed it up and just did not give a shit, but the results were always there. And you would have thought that like, most, you know, uh kids when they have a very supportive or strict parent, they're more like reserved. You were not reserved and your dad, the biggest supporter, Papa Pedro himself, shout out to Papa Pedro, that dude, probably one of the funniest dads I've ever met in my life. You
well, now,
know,
now
now back then, I remember.
Sergeant Lopez is what you really should have been calling him back then. 'Cause
Yeah, seriously, yeah, because your dad, man, I think one time, I think one time, I think one time you were talking shit to me online, and I responded, and your dad hit me up, and I'm like, bro, like your daughter's talking shit to me. I just didn't even like. Your I don't give a fuck was so great because I had to respect it, right? I had to respect it back then because I was like, damn, she went out of her way just to let me know that like she does not like me.
Yeah, like, put a timer on. I'm like, "Hey, at 5 o'clock today, respond to Sven's dumbass post and, like, tell him you don't give a shit. Tell him that."
No, well, no, one time you texted me talking shit to me. I remember, dude, and it was out of nowhere. And I'm pretty sure your dad probably monitored your phone
Oh my god. You
and like
totally.
I remember like, you told me something and I responded, and then, like, your dad I think your dad no, Guard hit me up, and he's like, "Hey, don't do respond to talking to Jade," and I'm like I said, "She hit me up, bro, like, what are you talking about?" Like, I
My
said,
dad
"Whatever."
back, both my dads, my taekwondo dad and my mom's dad.
Bro, dude, oh,
That's
you
so
what one dad likes me, Papa Pedro likes me, your other dad does not like me whatsoever. He can't stand me at all. Well, it doesn't help that, like, like I said, I was trying to tell you about the whole Gormley thing, right?
yeah,
And, I told TJ because I wanna be the commentary for Gormley's next TKD because I think I'd be awesome for the show. I think he'd be a great commentator.
yeah.
I did say he needs to get rid of Troy Gar because if I hear one more fucking riddle, I'm gonna slam my head through a wall. You know, I did say that, and then Gormley said, "I guess I ruined it," but no, that's not fair. Everyone has their opinion, but again, this is my show to speak my truth. I,
Yep.
you know, I did say this. I said Troy Gar is a coach, phenomenal. Troy Gar is a trainer, phenomenal. Commentating, not phenomenal.
Okay, I will say this, whatever riddle he got for me to I don't remember if I kicked you or punched you in the mouth, but I busted your shit up. That was a pretty probably good riddle that he said. I gotta figure out what riddle he told me on that one.
Okay, yeah, the riddle was okay. Let's clear that story up. Let's clear that story up. First of all, you and I were sparring, and at that time, you and I were cool. Now, you and I are buddies. We're friends. It's what's up, Jade? What's up, Sven?
Was
Hug,
it that
hug.
okay?
Yeah, well, I thought it was, unless you fucking obviously you tricked me. Um, what was it called? You honeycombed me.
Yep.
And you made me fall into a false security that I was safe. Well, let alone I wasn't safe. We're sparring. You punch me with this fucking Thor punch to the nose. My nose starts bleeding like crazy. I said, "Hold up, my nose is bleeding." You grab my hogu and just start wailing on my ribs with your leg. And then Guard's like, "Fight back." I'm like, "I can't. I'm losing a lot of blood right now, and things are going really bad." And I'm looking at you, and I'm like, "Are you gonna stop anytime soon? Because I'm still bleeding."
And I'm
And
like, "This is so awesome." Cool. I just slammed a hyphy juice from 7-Eleven next door, and I'm just going hard right now.
You look like you've been waiting to do that shit for so long. You
I'm like,
know,
"I wish I was doing this to someone else, but you'll do." No, just kidding.
I was the most satisfying one. You probably did a lot of favors for a lot of people that probably wanted to do that to me.
Yep.
You know,
That is hilarious, but that was definitely a core memory of mine. I remember when I think of that time, it's kind of funny because it was by a window. Troy had these windows where his old studio was, and it was
yeah,
the light of the angels were, like, shining down on you while you were bleeding, and I'm like, "This is so, like, poetic," and I'm just we just keep going, and I remember you're like, "What the fuck is your problem?" And I'm like, "I don't know, dude. I just am having fun."
Yeah, dude, and I know your dad was loving it outside, and again, I know that night you ate dinner and you ate well. Yeah,
I did.
so, um, that was a crazy moment because I know after a while you and I we trained with each other every once rarely, but at Troy Gars and stuff, and even during Troy Gars time, you had a lot of success. You were very successful at trials. You had a lot of hard fights. Like I don't think people understand like back then, like it was always a Shark Tank, I think in almost every division, especially your division. You fought the who's who,
Yeah.
of your division, and it was never easy. I think there was a trial. Did you fight like 9 times or something like that?
I fought a lot of times. I really can't remember. It was like double elimination. I think I had just like I mean, I still have like, I have holes in my shin, like, from some of those trials, and my husband thinks it's so cool. I'm like, "It's not cool. They look like" if I, like, grab my leg and I kind of twist it left and right, you can see all these, like, little divots in my shin where, like, there probably was something there, and it's not anymore. So,
Yeah.
no, I did. I had some tough fights. I mean, I remember and, very specifically, like, I knew I was gonna fight Nia. So, I would train for that front kick, right? Like I would train over and over again. And I would train with Troy and we would very specifically work on, going in and then evading. So basically, I just had to train my mind to be like, you can't be afraid to get hit because that's when you get hurt, right? When you're afraid. You get hurt when you're afraid and you hesitate. So a lot of my training before trials I think it was in Colorado, it was a double elimination or something like that. It was with Nia and, I God, I mean, again, I have very bad memory, but it was a really good fight. I mean, I do know that. I don't remember, like, the gist of the fight, but all of the stuff that I trained for it worked because she had that really awesome long front leg, and it just these things that I train with Troy, I wish that I had at the time the resources I think that young athletes have now, like online, like how to be an athlete. Cause I think I really missed that part. I tried really hard on trying to incorporate being an athlete. And that really stems from, not only your school, but just kind of just, a lot of, I think at the time too, like USAT, like they tested us shit, they tested us on how high can you jump, how fast are you, and how many times can you do this, and how quick are you at the mile, but I never remember ever receiving support on how to actually be an athlete, and that, to this day, like, in retrospect, drives me absolutely fucking crazy because there were schools that knew how to do this, right? And I would say, like, for example, like, Juan Moreno, like, I remember James Howe came to train with us one day and he had all these crazy drills that I'd never seen in my life. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what are we doing? Are we going to kick? Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And, now that I remember what it is that we were doing, it was like squats. It's like plyometrics. It's like this, and that. And I'm like, wow, and this stems all the way back to, Manila days when, TJ would come, James Muntastri, James Howe, like, we had all these people that would come and visit us and do all great trainings with us, but then at the same time, they would lead the class and you would see how they trained, which was a real eye opener, you know what I mean? And, I would say the very first time I ever really my eyes were opened and I was, like, blown away, and this is dad math because my dad didn't let me do fucking shit. He didn't let me go out with my friends in high school, couldn't have a cell phone, couldn't do this, couldn't do that, couldn't do that, blah, 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 blah. I was a straight A student, like, graduated with honors, and I thought I did pretty well in Taekwondo, so I would say I was a student athlete, right, at the time.
Yeah.
No, can't do this, can't do that. Can I go to In-N-Out with my friends? Hell no, can't do that. Can I go to New York and train with Master Seth? Sure. You can go for 2 weeks. You can go for Christmas, you can go for New Year's. I'll send you blah, blah, blah. And that was really honestly, I got my ass handed to me the first day. I got my shit busted in. I had a open mouth. I mean, God, Simone, I love looking at her Instagram now. She's just such a beautiful mom in person. And, I remember she busted my mouth. I had braces and I didn't even know, like, I thought we were going soft, and she's like, "We are," but she definitely
There's no going soft there.
she
I've
was
trained with her
hazing
too.
me, and it was fine, right? Because that's how tough they were, right? And so I just remember going through their trainings, and I remember calling my dad, like, downstairs, and I was like, "Hey, like, where did you send me?" I'm like, "I'm gonna come back home now. Like, what the hell? Master said took away all my snacks." My parents sent me, like, snacks, and he's like, "No, this is unhealthy. You're not gonna eat this." And I'm like, "What
Gave him
about"
a Christian, huh?
Yeah, I was like, "I want my gummy bears, fucking, all these other bad, horrible things back." But no, it's just interesting because I wish I had the tools back then that are available now to athletes. So I really admire the athlete that is like a hybrid. Like, you do taekwondo, but you also practice this or practice that. I mean, I was scrolling through Instagram today, like Master V Damien and all his whole school, they're doing hip hop classes. Like, that's amazing. Like, working on footwork, working on timing. These are things I don't think that were as available back then because we didn't really have phones to Google everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
And
yeah.
questions, so we relied on our instructors, so
Yeah, I asked Damon about those hip hop classes too. I was like, "Why do you guys do that?" He goes, "Oh, it helps with footwork." I was like, "But you still can't dance for shit. Like, I don't understand how the hell
you're
you're
like,
doing
"Can
it."
I come to dance?"
But those guys are doing a really good job. I have to give a lot of credit. I know Damon's part of that school, but Gus really has turned that school around. That school has always been, um, you know, uh, uh, a tank just full of killers the
Mhm,
entire time. And I feel really blessed the fact that I got to actually be with them, work with them. Obviously, I just came back from Estonia with Damien. He did
mhm.
his K1 fight that he won against a really big Korean. It was funny too because that guy Samuel Eriksson, he's from Sweden, but he's a Korean guy. I kept making the joke that this is literally fucking Bloodsport like remaking, and I kept saying that Damon was Van Damme and he was a big Korean dude that he was fighting. And
Well, David can't do the splits, right? So I think you're pretty accurate there.
yeah. So I thought it was hilarious. Damon's like, you're a fool, and I was like, I'm sorry, dude. I just can't. Once I get a little liquor in me, I can't stop talking shit. But no, but yeah, your career, it was phenomenal, honestly. Like, it's weird because I always keep saying that in taekwondo history, people don't remember this stuff, right? No
Yeah,
one no one remembers a lot of the past athletes. A lot of good female athletes too. Like Simone DeVito.
mhm.
The
Funny.
Jay Lopez, Daniel Holmquist. You know
Lauren
what I mean? Lauren Katz, she was a beast. That's a girl, if she would have kept going, would have kept making team, and I don't know if Charlotte would have been around. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Lauren Ca
Um,
amazing. I mean,
Lauren
I trained with her. Nothing but amazing things to say about that girl. I mean,
yeah, and
great.
honestly, who knows if Victoria didn't leave the USA to go to Puerto Rico, if she would have kept making team because she's the one that beat Charlotte to get on team. You know what I mean? So, and I'm not taking anything away from Charlotte because she ended up making Olympics and doing what she had to do, but things kind of fell into cards for her. But other than that, like like I said, there's so many good female fighters. Nia Dalla, you got Lauren Cahoon that you know,
Yeah.
talking about earlier. Who else, man? I
Think
know
about
this.
that.
You were the greatest Lopez athlete alive.
They no, I mean, it was frustrating back then because and I think that really contributed to me ultimately just being like, "All right, what am I doing with my life?" As I got older because I did try out. I wanted to go to the Olympics. Like, I definitely wanted to go to the Olympics. I don't know any serious, Olympic style taekwondo athlete that's not just kind of on their genuine radar, right?
Yeah.
That's a competitive athlete. And
Well,
I go
I
ahead.
can tell you one. I can tell you one.
Who?
His name is Chase Graham.
Oh.
He made senior team once, and he said that was his goal, and he stopped. So I could name one. That was okay. There, that was mine. But that's true though. But that's true though, because that's what literally he told us. He said that. He said I said, why are you retiring when you're at your peak? He said, well, I already did what I had to do. I made national team, so I kind of did everything.
Well, for the
What?
people who definitely have bigger dreams than just making team one time,
Or bigger balls.
that's
Keep going. Sorry.
I'm just being funny. I'm just kidding. I'm 5 shots.
You're being truthful. This is the truthful hour. This is what we need. There you go. Drink that drink real quick.
So good.
So, that's so good. What is that? What did Bezo make you there?
It's so good. Oh, I'm saying it's so good. It's fucking tequila and lemonade.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but that's me. If you know me and you have talked to me or have, kept up with me, I'm just like I said earlier, we're just authentic to ourselves. Like I think me and you are fucking hilarious. Like we should
Oh, dude. When you and I get together, it's like we're just talking and Bezo and Marty are just like by themselves. Like,
I know.
so
We
you
love
like
them.
you like YouTube? Like oh, I guess we'll watch the kids. Remember that time we left them to watch the kids and we
Yep,
went to the
that was
strip? Oh, that was hilarious. We had a blast. We went from bar to bar and then ended up sharing a burger at night to like Bezo going, where you guys at?
it's
Like
too bad we didn't get into like a street fight or something, but yeah, we definitely
we were definitely ready for it. I was definitely ready for you to defend me. You know?
it's so fun. Um,
But
just don't fall on the ground because I can't work down there, so just stay up here.
yeah, we'll keep you up. Trust me, we'll keep you up. Um, but you again, your work ethic was just like your taekwondo training. Like I'm watching you, like you were nonstop. You're hardcore. When you're in it, you're in it. When was it like about the time where you decided like maybe like I'm just kind of over this?
Oh god, there's a few times, but the honest real times, one of them was team trials. So I remember I was fighting Diana and the winner was going to Beijing. I think it was Beijing if I could remember right. I'm like, there are my 5 shots telling me a wrong country. Um and
Yeah, you're right.
and at the time I had braces. I was still young, and I for being as young as I was fighting an experienced fighter that I admired, and I have nothing bad to say about Diana. Let's just say that like I respect her as an athlete and I think she's accomplished a lot. So I would never take that away from another athlete. But during that fight, honestly, I just felt like I was robbed. And I remember getting punched in the mouth and not only do I have proof I got punched in the mouth because she punched my braces into my gums. So my braces came off of my teeth and they were in my gums and my mouth was bleeding. And I got a kyungo, no, a gamjang for bleeding. I got a gamjang for bleeding and it was 1-1. And she beat me by 1 point. So I just felt, and obviously anybody who's ever fought knows that when you're down versus when you're up, it's a different game, right? And you know, the best offense is a good defense. You can be up or you could be down, but it's like it changes how you fight sometimes, right? It changes like especially where's the time on the clock. And that was like my first experience where I was like, why the fuck did I get a gamjang and I'm bleeding because someone punched me illegally in my fucking mouth, And that was something that it was really hard to swallow, right? And then I wasn't even an alternate or I wasn't even a training partner to go, which I was like, "Okay, I get it," but then they brought, Charlotte Craig at the time, and I'm like, "Okay, we're just." It didn't make sense to me, right? And I was really, really upset about that because, 1, I was hungry as fuck because I had been cutting weight up and down between, like, bantam, feather, lightweight, just back and forth, and
Yeah.
now that I'm older, I'm just a beefy, strong, heavier person. Like, I wouldn't say I'm a heavy set person, but I build muscles so fast, it's crazy. Like, my husband is like, "I have no idea why you're so strong and how you get strong so fast, but I'm jealous." Like, I've always been that way, and I think back in the day where it's like, "Man, maybe I should have just fought, like, heavyweight," or, like, something around there and just let my body do what it's supposed to do, but back
Yeah.
n everybody was like, cut weight, fighting the lighter weights." I wish I reevaluated that back then or I had somebody to tell me, like, just because you're heavyweight doesn't mean you're fat, and to be honest, it's like, that's kind of what it felt like, but it's not true because there's a lot of really great heavyweights that were in great shape that I think um, that were just naturally heavy, but very great athletes. And I just felt like I was scared to even participate in any of those weight divisions because, like, almost like frowned upon. Like, everybody loves the athlete that cuts weight. Everybody loves the thin fly bantamweights, And so,
Yeah.
um, It was a tough time. That was, like, the first marker and indication of, like, "What the fuck? I worked so hard and I cut 20 pounds to be here, and then I just got my shit punched into my gums, and then um, I just got reprimanded for it," you know? And so
Yeah.
right there was my first real nasty taste of politics, right? So that was one. And then I remember going to a team trials where at this point I'm like, I don't want to do taekwondo anymore. I think I was supposed to go to Canada for an open, and I was like, I don't want to go. My dad was fucking livid. He's like, "What do you mean you don't want to go?" I'm like, "Fuck everybody, I don't want to go." And now as a parent, I feel. I hope if my dad listens to this, I feel so
He
sorry.
will.
I
He
did that.
will.
Sorry, I did that to you, but it sounds like you and Tiff got a good trip out of it, and like, um, went to Niagara Falls and had a great time. But long story short, I shoulda went. I wish I went to the open. I wish I pushed past it, but you never know. Maybe that, the butterfly effect, maybe things happen for a reason and that trip just didn't work. But after that trip, I think there was like a team trials. I had like I missed some kind of qualifier, and then they had these wild cards. I think Jessica Torres had talked about it. Well, I don't think we were at the same one, but I was at one of them where they similarly had wild cards. So I don't really agree with her and the fact that she's like, "Oh, you have wild cards, like, you shouldn't be here." And it's like, to me, it's like, who gives a fuck? If someone got a wild card and you're better than them, then fuck them. Like, who cares if they have a wild card? I think
Yeah.
only the only thing to that is I do agree with her with the fact that I feel like I was handing some shit to people at that team trials, and, like, I remember it pretty vividly that was, like, me telling myself, "Oh, I remember why you love taekwondo. I remember why you're here. Like, you're pretty decent at it, girlfriend." Like, I gained some confidence back at just being around these high level athletes where I'm just like, "Yeah, this is actually where I belong. I don't know why I let, like, one round of fucking politics get to me," right? And it could have been that fight, it could have been something similar, but there's been, a few small instances that led up to the point basically where I didn't go to this qualifier. So, with all that being said, I remember, and this is where the tests come into play. When I said earlier that, USAT tests you on this, they test you on that, they test you on that, and then they don't give you the tools to make any of that better. I go into a room and there's coaches there, and they're basically telling me they didn't pick me. And I do remember that they picked somebody from one of their groups, and I'm not even gonna name it, but it doesn't matter because when gapping was a thing, I gapped the shit out of this person. So I'm like, I don't even fucking know how this is even a conversation because I just sent your girl to the medic because I just smashed on her, and then you're gonna say you picked her and you didn't real. They told me this specifically. We didn't even know you were in the room. Maybe you didn't because you were focused on your girl in the medic for me busting her mouth. So you probably forgot that I was in the room because you were tending to your athlete at the medic. Uh,
Yeah.
so this was like another taste of like, are you serious? And I remember they ran all these tests on us, which I thought were bullshit because it's like, I get it. Listen, there's two sides to this. Yes, an athlete should be able to jump. Yes, an athlete should be fast, should be able to run a mile in a decent time, should be able to this, should be able to do this, should be able to do 50 crunches. But look, some people look at Nate Diaz. Some people are not built like athletes, but they're built for that sport, right? And maybe was not I'm not talking about his last fight because that was fucking crazy. But I'm
Oh
talking
God.
about in his prime, right? Where you see this guy come out and he's got a small little chest and kind of a weird little alien shaped stomach, and he's rocking people in the ring because this is his shit. And I just felt like just because we are not checking boxes doesn't mean we're not built for this shit, right? And that right there between the politics and this weird fucking grading that they never told us about, it would have been nice if they're like, hey, we're gonna check on this and that, this and that, like be ready.
Yeah.
Strapping us to fucking plyometric machines that they use for the athletes that live there, and they're telling us to jump, they're telling us to do this. I'm what? 16, 17 years old. I'm like, "What the fuck is going on?" Like, this is technology is beyond me, right? So I don't even know what they're measuring. It wasn't a good to me, it wasn't a good trials. And I listened or whatever that you wanna call that thing. I did listen to Juan Moreno's podcast. I did hear how they were trying to, like, establish a different method into choosing these teams. And I do respect that. Before I heard that podcast, I didn't really understand the whys, Um, I respect that aspect of it. I just don't think I respected the aftermath of it. I don't think that I agreed with how they went about analyzing the athletes and then the little feedback they gave, but made it so critical to their answers. So it's like, don't really have a lot of things to tell you other than like not gonna pick you, but yeah, we ran all these tests and it just yeah. Like, and I'm like, "Okay, so what do I do with that? Like, why don't you tell me what my test said and how to fix it? If you wanna make the US Taekwondo whole better, then make it more competitive. How do you make it more competitive? Make your top athletes better if you want it on an international stage. How do you make your top athletes better even though they're not a part of your immediate team? Shit, maybe next year they're gonna be a part of your team. Maybe they're gonna fight the best person that you're sending right now. If you don't give them the tools to be better, then you're not making it competitive. You're picking your best guy today, your whoever is your guy today, which might not be your best guy tomorrow, and you're sending them somewhere else, and you're taking all this talent and you're sending them back home with basically no information. And that's what I never liked about like going to Colorado, then the training camps and stuff like that. I felt
Yeah.
it was like, "Hey, come to this. We're gonna look at this slideshow and learn about nutrition," and then you left and they didn't give you a meal plan. And, it's like, why not? Why didn't you guys give us real meal plans for our fucking weight classes? I mean, there was a nutritionist there. Like, those things now and like I said, in retrospect, as an adult, I can't agree with. Like, I can't grasp that. I
Yeah.
just don't. So, those were
And I completely understand that. That makes a lot of sense the way you break it down. I know Juan had when I had him on my episode, he had his explanation, which I completely respect. Juan and I we talk from time to time. He's an avid listener of the show too. Um, he does support the show. I watch his show. I mainly watch to see what he says. Um, him and Terrence. I know they have their own little beef with USAT and AAU right now, but yeah, no, I had asked him about that because Jessica Torres had her concerns and she had asked me to actually ask that question about the whole camp thing,
mm,
right? And I did. And Juan, being a gentleman, he answered it, and it's crazy because you had kind of the same experience too. Maybe from like you say, maybe from your like he said, from your guys' eyes, it was you saw it one way, but he saw it another way. Um, but I could see the concern because I remember back then when Jessica and James Matosri were training with us at Vias. It was a lot of elite and peak people on that team.
mm,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Um, but again, I wasn't, fighting what year was that? 2000 what?
beats me.
I
Beats
don't
me.
remember. I don't even know if I was still if I was still involved in USAT because I was only involved in
Oh, it's
USAT for two
adult
two
though.
years.
I know
Huh?
it was I know I was an adult, at I think I was
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I was only involved for
yeah.
USAT for 2 years, 2006 and 7, and then that's when I went to Guyana to go fight for them. But no, it's unfortunate that like something like that will kill your spirit too. Because I can understand, when you're already trying your hardest, you're already getting screwed at trials. We've seen
Yeah.
it happen many a times. We saw TJ Curry get screwed many a times at trials.
Oh, yeah.
Um, you know, multiple times, and not just with Steven. We saw it happen with Mark. We saw it happen, just so many times. It's right when he gets to the finals, all of a sudden they can't score for him anymore, and
Yeah.
it's a really painful thing to watch.
I mean,
Um,
even when I watch, and it's a memory I'm bringing up of Brian Gallagher. When Brian Gallagher would fight, they would rob him too sometimes. There'd be he was an awesome fighter, and there'd be
oh,
times
Brian Gallagher was smart.
yeah, and it just was like it bothered me. Just adding all these things up bothered me. But to be naive and say there's not politics in every sport and people aren't biased, that'd be silly of me to say. I mean, it happens in every sport. So
Yeah,
just being a what I would consider I wouldn't call it a victim, but experiencing this firsthand. Like, look, me and Jessica Torres, I think we're very similar in the fact that we're very, I love her, I respect her, I grew up fighting her, I grew up, knowing that her parents were, I loved God, I loved her parents, especially her mama, like awesome mama bear. She was always sweet to me. After my fight, she'd come up to me and be like, that's how we do it. Like, absolutely love her family. That we're very smart intuitive women because of how we were raised. And for both of us to have similar outlooks on an event that was totally separate, like she went one year, I went another year, I think. It's really interesting to see that because that is the taste that USAT that year left and the year after or the year before left in good athletes' mouths. And I mean, to speculate where I could have been today, I mean, that's not fair. I'm not going to do.
Yeah.
But I think that I did have talent. I think that I could have done other things, and I just chose to be a I mean, you know me, Sven. I'm a realist. I'm like, "What the fuck we doing? I'm gonna do something else," I need
Yeah. Yeah.
life. And at the time, I needed a change. I just felt like I was stuck in this taekwondo world, and no matter how hard I tried, no matter how many weight classes I went to, it was never really gonna be up to me unless I completely dominated a division. And to be honest, I will say with respect and love for all the athletes that I fought, Daniel Holmquist, Nia Abdallah, Diana Lopez, all these amazing, amazing athletes, to say that I couldn't dominate the division, and honestly, I don't think they could either because there was rivalry between many of them, like Eleni and all, like there was a ton of great fights always happening, right? If you're never gonna dominate and there's always gonna be politics and you just feel like they're really never gonna be on your side until you pick a gang, right? Until you gang up and either go to Florida or you go to New York or you go to Texas. It's it's really hard. And so, you know, I mean, it's a tough one. It's a tough pill to swallow because, I do just like anybody think about what if, what if, what if. And I definitely know my dad's if he listens to this or when he listens to us, he's like, the saddest thing anybody could, have is, either wasted talent or regret, and what ifs. You don't want to live your life that way. So I've definitely
Yeah.
come to peace with Taekwondo. I mean, there's a period of time where I didn't even want to watch the Olympics because I just felt like irritated. I felt irritated. I felt irritated, maybe felt like brought back memories of things that I didn't really want to relive. So as weird as it sounds, when the Olympics would come on, I think for a few years after I had Zoe, I just refused to watch it. Like I didn't follow it, didn't care, didn't want to hear it. I remember my husband's like, "Don't you want to watch this?" And Troy would message me a link, and I'm like, "No, I really don't. Like, I really don't want to watch it
Yeah.
at all." So, I mean, those are the effects that I think politics can play for athletes that don't wanna play these silly games, that don't wanna play these politic games. I mean, it's tough. I don't blame anybody. I mean, I made these decisions on my own, so I can watch, and like I said, I admire all the athletes that I've ever been in the ring with, trained with, or even sat there, after I was done fighting just to watch their matches. Like,
Yeah.
there's a ton of people that way. I mean,
I
I
remember you come and watch me fight Jason Huang when he was on the USA team.
oh, yeah.
That shit was so funny at the little Pan Am Collegiates.
Yeah.
And I remember I won, and then like I went to go sit next to you and talk to you, and you're like, you just totally took that guy's spot. Like, what the fuck? I was like, yeah, it's just Jason Huang. You know?
Oh my god. I had a lot of good memories. It's a funny memory I actually have because I hope Damien listens to it. It's it's the first year I went to team trials as a junior, and I won. And I think this was before I went to Pan Am, and Damien, I think he got second that year. And we
Yeah.
so happened to be on the same plane. And I remember my shin was messed up, man. Like, I'm limping. My dad had to, like, give me a hand because I just couldn't walk on my right leg. Um, and I remember being I loved watching Damien that whole tournament. So did my dad. My dad was like, "Oh, he's so good, and he's a fun kid to watch." And I remember being on the plane, and Master Villa was there. And this is the funny part. Like, Master Villa was there, and I guess he just, like, had got into, like, buying this digital camera or something, and he was, like, trying to, like, use
Oh,
it.
dude, that digital camera fucking everywhere.
So
Everywhere.
so I'm on the plane, and I'm, like, I don't know, 7 rows ahead, and I see Damian, and he's, like, holding his eyes, and he's, like, shaking his head, and, like, Master V is, like, taking photos of me, and, like, every time I turn around, he's, like, taking photos. I'm like, I'm wondering if he still has these photos. I'm like,
You you know, he probably does, dude. Master Villa, that guy.
and
I
I
had to I had to live with him by myself, for a little bit when the guys left to Mexico, and it was just me and Master Villa hanging out. Can you imagine me and Master Villa just hanging out by ourselves? I remember
when
one time I went over to their house. Huh?
you guys got, like, a line of liftoff and just, like, went at it all day.
Pretty pretty much. But obviously too, like, back then when you guys made junior team, like, your stuff was all funded by USAT, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. That it
But
definitely was. Is that not how it is now?
no, it's not like that now. Like, now, I don't know when it started, but, like, now, like, let's say these kids just went to Uzbekistan for Worlds, and
Okay.
these kids, they have to pay their own way. Like, it's horrible that they have to do the whole process to make team to get to that point, and now the parents gotta pay for that too, especially because of the fact that, like, the USA team, they have 2 foreign coaches, now they hired a 3rd one, uh, but they don't even use them for the junior team. They just completely kinda, like, abandon them. Like, I think during that time, they sent Damien as one of the coach, Nikki as a coach, and, some other people I really don't know about. They had one guy as a trainer there. He had 2 people on team. They didn't let him coach. They took him as a trainer, and he paid his own way to get there. It's just real funny in how they're moving these days, and you being the tactician you are when it comes to breaking shit down, whether it's a lie or some numbers, I know you got the insight
On the
because
dance floor, you forgot to tell the audience that also on the dance floor, I'd be breaking it down. No, I'm
on the
totally joking. I'm
no,
totally
that
joking.
her husband will break it down the dance floor, but Jade will not move a muscle.
I'll break down a bottle of tequila. How about that?
I'll break that down with you too. Don't trip. I think, well, we've done that many a times. I'm waiting for another one.
So
You
I
know.
do know you had mentioned to me, like, because I was asking, because I was in one of your podcasts, you had one of your friends on, and you guys were kind of talking about funding and stuff. I don't know him. I can't remember his name. But yeah, I was interested, and I think I hit you up. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? And you're just like, oh, the funding has changed. And then, like, right then and there, I was like, hmm, I bet you they got a Form 990 on their website because, I worked in the public sector doing, I'm in construction now. And so I worked in the public sector for a while where we had to file all these different forms and we had to report everything. And because it was taxes and it was a nonprofit in some cases, all of this stuff has to be public record. Like after it's audited and it's all complete, it goes either on a website or somewhere where it's available, you can request it. So being the nerd that I am deep down, uh,
Ooh.
I was like, I'm gonna go to the USAT website, and I'm gonna see if they have their documents up, and they should, and they did. So anybody who's listening to this, if you go to the website, you can easily find it. If you can't find it, just like go to Google, type in USAT, and type in Form 990 or taxes, and then you'll get this full report that's like 30 pages, and it's probably a lot, but I bet if you went page by page, it would start making, like, a little bit of sense. So, Sven, I'm gonna leave the floor if you're open to any questions, there's so many numbers here, so if you want to specifically talk about anything or you just want me to get into it, let me know.
No, I want you to break it down to see where the hell this money's going, so we can maybe you and I can try to solve the mystery here.
So, it was interesting to look at this. I mean, I thought there were some good things and there were some bad things. I mean, if we talk about membership dues alone, in 2022, they had, about $430,000 in revenue off of memberships. And then in 2023, they gained about $117,000 in memberships. And then in 2024, I think they're up about 72K, which led to a total of like $621,000 in membership dues. So to me, the program revenue in that case moving up every year, because I only up to 2024 is available right now online because of auditing and stuff. I think that's good. They're seeing an increase in activity for participants and memberships and kids and adults who want to participate in USAT. So that was something that I thought was was nice to see. I mean, 2023 was way better than 2024, so I'm just curious, like, maybe what happened there, and I don't know, maybe now it's worse. I'd have to see it, right? And then we probably won't see 2025 for another few months. So
Yeah.
that was the first thing that I saw that was really cool. If you go on page 7 of their 990, you can definitely see right in the first 7 pages, you'll see like a breakdown of their I would call them like salary employees, right? So they're their typical 40-hour employees. They're allocating 40 hours to whatever they're saying they're doing a week. So you got Stephen McNally, Christine Simmons, and Gareth Brown. Do any of those names ring a bell to you?
Gareth Brown is the coach, one of the coaches from Great Britain.
Okay.
Uh, and then Stephen McNally is the CEO. The other lady, I'm not too sure.
Okay. So would you say that these people dedicate their whole work week to strictly taekwondo, or are they seasonal?
As far as Gareth Brown, I believe so.
Okay.
I know he runs the academy team, but then also I don't think it's an everyday thing because I see him online always doing seminars with Chase. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
So for a breakdown for him, in 2024, he made $130,000.
damn.
Which I would say if this is not your full-time job, I mean, that's a really nice cash cow to have if you're not doing it full-time. And I'm not saying this is true. I'm just speaking on the numbers that I'm seeing because I don't know these people. I'm not involved. I'm just saying if this is this, then this. So take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. It's really all speculation based on numbers that I'm reading. So you
Yeah.
got that. I mean, Stephen McNally made 154,000 that year, and Christine Simmons, who's she's referenced as managing director of events. She made pretty similar to the CEO. She made about 140 ish, so about 10 grand less.
Yeah.
Um, so right then and there, I mean, just right off the top, right off the cut, $350,000 just straight to salary employees. I'm not saying they're not important. I'm just giving kind of just breaking down like what I'm seeing as far
Yeah.
as
Well, that doesn't even count Paul Green that's running the program too, but he lives in England.
yeah, and this gets interesting because, you have this page 7, but if you move to page 10, which is actually a statement of the expenses, you'll see that and you'll see a lot that companies, especially charities, can kind of bunch up and bundle certain um, expenses, and I would say in this case, salaries and wages. So there's $760,000 in total salaries and wages. Program services and expenses, there's about $695,000 allocated to that group, and then the delta of that would be in management and general expenses. So if you think about it, although they're not listed like the CEO is listed, they're still paying out people in salaries and wages. So this could be, high performance staff, coaches, I don't know, event staff, marketing staff, safe sport compliance staff, like operations. All of those different categories can fall in there, but the fact that they're not listed out, you really can't see who it is. So it kind of sucks because you just don't know where that money is going, right? I mean, that's almost $800,000 of just a a pile of money that's allocated to different salaries and wages that you just have no idea, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty interesting that I saw. Like I said, it doesn't mean they're abusing it. I'm just trying to bring light of what I'm reading. Another one that I noticed, let's see, net assets at the end of 2024 was $636,000. So when you tell me that they didn't fund the athletes' hotels, they didn't do this, this, and that, I mean, if you have a reserve of $636,000 of cash balance assets, and I'm talking about cash. I'm not even talking about assets. I'm talking about cash. You have $636,000 of cash left over at the end of the year. Why didn't you pay for your athletes? Someone either fucked up on the budgets and should have allocated more money to the athletes. They were so scared that they didn't do it, which tells me that they have weak forecasting, or maybe they were planning for a bigger expense the next year. Like I said, I can't see 2025, but I thought that was interesting. If you're telling me they're not paying for athletes and they have $636,000 in fund balances at the end of 2024, That doesn't make sense to me at all.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to like contributions, right? So contributors. If you're listening to this and you go to Schedule B on the 990, they're broken up into basically different schedules or like exhibits. If you move to that, you'll see there are 4 contributors. One who I have no idea who this is, but some person contributed $752,000 in cash. So I don't know who this big baller is, but please give him my routing number so I can.
Help me out too, shit.
So here's where it gets funky for me. Here's where I'm like, ugh, because I'm looking at this and you have 3 other contributions in addition to this mystery person, right? This baller shot caller. Um, the next 3 contributions are non-cash contributions. So
Mm.
these aren't actually dollars that the USAT is getting. It is more like a service or volunteership for exchange, and it's based on like market value, right? So if I look at this, one of the non-cash expenses is 125,000, the next is 10,000, and the next is 1.5 million. So you're thinking about that and you're like, oh, okay, what does that mean? If you go to the next page on that same exhibit, Schedule B, page 3, again, I'm only saying this in case people are listening and maybe they rewind it, pause it, pull it up, right?
Yeah.
You'll see a breakdown of the non-cash property. So the $125,000 of non-cash, it was equipment and apparel that was provided, which is a donation, right? It's like for free. So whoever they got it from, it could have been their sponsors. If you go on their website, they have a list of sponsors, which I will get into in a second here. And then it looks like they got, I don't know is it AppLovin Corp? AppLovin? Do you recognize this name at all?
Who?
AppLovin or Applovin? I don't know.
McLovin?
Yeah, McLovin. I don't know. They gave
I don't know.
$10,000 of shares. So whatever that means.
How much?
$10,000 of shares. So
Jesus.
it doesn't mean that it's cash, but they got some shares in whatever company this is.
Yeah.
So, cross my fingers for USA Taekwondo athletes that those shares make a lot of dough and it grows, right? Um, the next one was okay, this is the part that I'm like, what? Because we already talked about the 790,000 or whatever they spent on staff, right?
Yeah.
They have $1.5 million in non-cash services that consist of sports science athlete support, sports medicine athlete support, and general program support. So if you are already allocating $1.5 million doll hairs, $1.5 million doll hairs in all of these services at fair market value, you're saying that we believe all the man hours or woman hours, whatever you want to call it, I call them man hours, all the man hours that were put into place equal $1.5 million to support our Taekwondo year through events and any other kind of programs that they ran. But you're still forking out $790,000 in salaries and wages. That leads me to question, okay, what exactly and who exactly are you paying the $790,000 to? That was my biggest question because if you're already getting a lot of money for all these other non-cash services, then what are the other services costing you that amount in $790,000? And maybe I'm in the wrong business because that's a lot of money. Um, Then also, this was kind of lame, in my opinion, right? Remember, we're talking about $690,000 in reserve, right?
Yeah.
Schedule 1, Jesus Christ, someone take the tequila away from your girl. Schedule I, Form 90. It basically breaks down the stipends and the prize money. So
Yeah.
for 2024, they allocated $38,000 in cash grants for athlete stipends. And then for prize money and performance incentives, they allocated $21,000. So what I will say right now is that's weak as hell. Like I'm just like, if someone wins a big ass tournament, pay the man, pay the woman, give them something to be happy about. Like pay it forward to your athletes so they can use that money God, you don't know what people are going through. I mean, shit, I used to walk to taekwondo at, like, I think I was, like, 11 or 12 because my parents couldn't take me. My dad worked really late nights and, he was basically raising me alone, and I had to get to taekwondo. You just don't know what people are going through and what, like, an extra 5 grand can do for them. I think that
Yeah, exactly.
you have these amazing, passionate, wonderful athletes. Take care of them. Like, that's what I always wish that the USA Taekwondo did, and I just felt like to a point, but not really at that level, you know? So,
Yeah.
I think those things that I just those items that I just discussed are pretty important. I mean, it's just interesting to see the breakdown. I know that they spent a good amount. I mean, if you look at, there's another good schedule you can look at if you have time, whoever's listening, pull up Schedule M. If you look at that whole schedule, it will give you a real breakdown of all those expenses I just discussed from a higher level. And then if you turn to page 2 of that, what it actually does, page 1 and 2, it gives actually a breakdown of the organization's intent. So it's going to tell you exactly what the organization was going for that year and what they spent their money on. I mean, I don't know. I'm not involved anymore. Sports science and medicine program services, they spent 1.3 million. I mean, does that
That doesn't sound accurate. I had this girl Desiree Roloff in there. They said they hire dietitians, they have therapists, they have doctors, and they never did anything, you know?
that's
She
that's concerning. I mean, that's a big chunk of the money that they make, the revenue that they make every year. I don't remember what it was. I should go back to the balance sheet, but I think at the top of my head, I think it was like 6 point something million, if I can remember. But that's a huge chunk. I mean, they just kind of chalk it in there with the salaries and wages. Um, and then it's like program service expenses. So you spend 521,000 in program services. So in the actual programs, you're spending 521,000, but under sports science and medicine, you're spending 1.3. I mean,
Yeah.
I could
So
be reading this wrong. I'm no CPA. I'm really not. I just like to look at these things. I like numbers. I like to look, analyze things like that. And I just thought those things really stuck out to me. Another thing that I had looked at was like USA Rugby, right? My sister's heavily involved in USA Rugby now. And
yeah.
when I look at like their revenue and how much they spend on athlete services, the percentage is way higher than ours. Like I mean, then when I say ours, USA Taekwondo. The same with judo. If you look up USA Judo, how much they make in revenue and how much they spend on athlete services, I think USA Taekwondo spends somewhere in the 40% range, and I think judo is like 66. And judo, the judo athletes don't even place or medal as well as our USA Taekwondo athletes do. I think we're more decorated than USA Judo is, but they spend more time invested in their athletes. So
Yeah.
those are just some metrics that I have looked up. And again, like I'm no CPA. I probably looked at this over a couple beers when I had called you. And by the time I finished the, 40 pages, I was probably 1 tequila, 250 tequilas in with my dad. So I I mean, I just encourage people if it's available online, just go look at it. And I think that if USA Taekwondo really cares that their board and their committee would spend time addressing questions that people had. I also believe and look it up online that if you request their tax forms, I forget what the timing is that they have to provide it to you. So if you're interested in 2025, I think that if you requested them, that they are supposed to provide it to you.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are just I know it's not really fun for everybody to listen to, but
Oh,
I
trust me, people want to hear this stuff because I'm curious on what Dae Lee's gonna get when he gets in here, right?
yeah,
They got the world champion in here coming in. I'm curious what he's getting because they're charging so much money for these tournaments now. I think they had the American West Open or East Open or something like that, and it costs like I think like 200 something dollars to register. It's ridiculous on what
that's
they're charging.
interest that's really interesting. And I'm just gonna put this out there now since we don't have the forms. I wonder if you're not even gonna see his name on there as a significant person because 'cause they're gonna put him under wages and other expenses to hide what they're paying him. I'm not saying that
Yeah.
they are, I'm just saying that it's definitely something to consider because, um, it is a possibility that it would go under a different category because he is a qualified expert, and I think there's just some language behind that, how you can categorize things on
Well,
this line
I
item.
think that's also how they're probably hiding Paul Green's maybe salary too. Um,
Mhm.
and then you got Landon in there, and
Oh,
then
was he here for 2024?
yeah,
Well,
and
you
now you got
definitely don't see his name here.
and I think Nikki was in there. Nikki's in there, so they're definitely hiding something. You know, the coaches are living better than the athletes, right? Like, these athletes, a lot of these athletes don't have money. They struggle. Um, some athletes, not everybody is well off enough where they have parents that can fund them completely to help, with these events or to keep them living. Because you and I know, like, we don't come from the richest families, but we worked hard to get our opportunities to get so we can go on these trips and get the opportunities to be out there and fight the best in the world. And I don't know if you know who So Won Kim is, but he makes always a great point of saying, it's sad because without funding, kids start quitting because parents can't afford it, so kids feel bad, and we're just left with the best of what we got, and that's just the name of the game now. It's I'm a big believer that a lot of the best kids are the ones that don't come from the wealthiest families,
Yeah.
right? And I was talking about that with Deireanne, and she comes from Linwood, from not a rich family at all. Like, her story is also really amazing, and
Mhm.
the drive she had to do what she had to do, and telling me, when she was like, I think 15 or 14 years old, she had to take the bus from Linwood all the way to North Hollywood. That's far.
Yeah.
Her and her brother taking a train to go to practice just so they could go train with Joseph Salim. That's
Mhm.
far. That's dedication. And if they didn't have that kind of drive, we probably would have never got to see her do the great things she did, or the great things her brother did, or the great things you did, or Damien, or myself, or anything, right? There's,
Yeah.
you know, but you have some athletes. I'm not hating on them. Had great opportunities, where their parents could fully help them. CJ has a great opportunity. His mom has a really good job, so I would never
Mhm.
hate on that because she did well for herself to take care of her kids as a
Mhm.
single mother. So he's not hurting for money, but he actually puts in the work, right? He actually puts in the work. He gets in there. That's why he's right now one of probably the most popular taekwondo athletes in the world.
Yeah.
The kids love him. The Gen Zers love him. Maybe not so much the millennials because they don't like the showmanship or whatever.
I
But
liked the commercial. Did he have the ones with the
that
tiny
commercial's cool. That one he did with
club?
the shoes, I like that commercial. That commercial's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool.
Rock some of those at the club, at the club.
Yeah, I actually like those. I kind of want to get a pair, just to have them. I'm not gonna do shit in them besides walk around my house, but
Yep.
I do like them. Um, and Victoria, she's now the face of Century equipment, for Taekwondo. So, but it's just funny, I watch Warehouse 15, and I really like their show. Um, you know, sometimes I like Herb, but some of the comments, I'm not really fond of that he makes. It just sounds more of I get if he's just old school and that's just his way, I guess like that's okay, but I respect it. But it just comes off very like just like, man, you can't even celebrate the new version of the way things are going, you know. And I get it. He's trying to, I guess, in his way, you could say defend the art of taekwondo or whatever. But it's like, dude, you're like, you're a legend of the sport. But like, most legends don't just start knocking people down, all the time.
I
And I get it. And I'll talk shit too. But I'm a person that if I'm gonna aim at people, I'm gonna aim at the right people and fire. I'm
I
not
mean,
just gonna.
uh, and I've seen some people talk about this. Do I think that taekwondo now is as exciting as when I did it? No. Why? It's like people who are like, "Oh, my music was the best back in my day." It's like you have some ownership of like shit that you participated in, and I get that. And while I may not have, like, this affinity or love for, like, the new sport, because quite frankly, I don't fucking get it. I had to look up the rules, and I remember I had it on my phone, and I was like, "Wait, hold on. Is that 1 point? Is that 2 points? Is that guy out? Do we tag him? Do we do the splits? Like, what's going on?" Right?
Do we do the
Yeah.
splits?
But my point is, like what you said, I agree with you 100%. You have kids that love taekwondo. I mean, obviously, by the membership dues, there's more kids coming in. So the fact that we've changed the sport to fit the new culture, how can you hate on that? Like, this sport deep down is still a sport, right? And sports change and rules change and we adapt. And would I love taekwondo today if I just jumped in today and I had not done it for the last, God, I don't know how many ever many years I've been out? No, I wouldn't. I'd probably be thrown off and you'd have to buy me a new hip and a fucking new knee because I've seen people kick all crazy and I'm like, wow, that's amazing, right? But you have to give it up to the athletes and the passion behind the kids, right? And so I just totally agree with what you said. Like, don't come at the wrong people. Just it's not the right way to go about it. You could dislike something and still feel like you can respect what other people are doing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, this is not my type of taekwondo that I would feel comfortable in my mind participating in again, but when I watch the kids and I watch my friends that my friends or, like, comrades that I fought back in the day, and they all have schools and they're training their kids, there's so much love and passion behind it, how can you hate on it? Like, the kids love it, like, so
Yeah,
move on. Move on. Oil your hip and move on. You know what I mean?
oil hip is crazy. But yeah, it's just, I think sometimes we gotta celebrate a little more. Um, the only thing with USAT is I just don't think they're making the best choices, not funding the kids. We got 3 foreign coaches, so what's the point of the 2 American coaches? You know,
Mhm.
you know, I just I feel like in order to be a coach, you gotta have some sort of merit of building kids up and, be showing that you can make your own athletes or whatnot. And if that's not the case, then what about all the good athletes that were on team for so many years, right? Um, you got even then, like even if they don't put him on the senior team, like you got James Howe, right? James Howe's been on team for how long? The guy was a superstar for USAT for how long?
Block me on Instagram, so I'm not quite sure.
Oh, okay. Well, uh, the goddamn. All right.
No, it wasn't
Um,
block, it just unfollow or whatever I
um,
call it these
but
days.
but but either way though, like he's been on team for so long, and he's made some athletes here and there. He's still kind of new in the coaching game. He's been doing it for a few years, but he's still someone that could have contributed to the country. Um, I think he was a better choice than Stephen Landon. I just don't see any value in Stephen Landon. Yeah, they could say he was an Olympian, but he's a guy. He's an Olympian went to court to get his division picked, and yeah, he won the division, but then he fucked the position. He fucked the spot when he went to Olympics. So did all that just to lose the first fight over there. I guess at the end of the day, he's an Olympian. I'm not. So fucking what? But I would never go to court to fight for a fucking weight class.
I forgot
Um,
to start teasing you about that you're not an Olympian and Stephen Lambden is actually that's a good I need to write that down because I love to
yeah,
tease you, so I'm like,
yeah,
joke
you're
that
gonna.
off spit.
For
I
real. But
I get
but
it.
but you know what though? But there's one thing Stephen Landon has never done, right? That
What?
I've done. I've actually put kids on team and seniors on team. He's never done that. So, he could
Is there
suck in on that one.
Oh my god, this guy's serious. No, I mean,
It's
I get it, but I will say too, like USA okay, you're not gonna like what I'm having to say, but I'm gonna be honest. USA Taekwondo isn't the only sport that hires coaches from other countries. But I will say, I get what you're saying. If the cream of the crop, if there's some good coaches out here, then let's put them first. Like, let's give home advantage to these good coaches and then go from
yeah.
so what I'm hearing is you're basically saying we have this wide range of great coaches that that have put kids on team and have a proven track record, can do well for our country, but instead of looking inside, we're just, like, venturing off to other
Yeah,
countries.
but three foreigners, like I can
Yeah,
understand one. One's cool, and I know which way you're gonna go. You're always gonna go for Korea,
mhm.
even though they fucked up my parlay. Okay, so I'm never betting on Korea
that
again.
game. I
Fuck
punch
that.
it in the face.
Hey,
They were like, "Aren't you both?" I'm like, "Yes, but I want it to be a close game."
wait, time out. But aren't you North Korean?
I'm both.
Your team would no, not both. You can't
I'm
claim
North.
both Korean.
I'm South. I'm Mexican too.
But I never again. Like I told Siddhartha Bot, I said, "What? I'm never betting on fucking Canada to win shit for me again." And now it's
But
Korea. My part. Oh, you know what? I didn't even bet on Korea to win. I bet for both teams to score because Korea usually will score a point in there. No, they let me down. So I'm going all the way with Panama, Japan, and Brazil. Those are my
Sid's
teams.
one of my first international friends. We're still Instagram friends, but that's funny you bring him up.
Oh, so dude. Oh, I talk. When he saw one time I was at your house, he goes, "Dude, is that Jade?" Like, dude, yeah. Dude's the man. Like, he's actually coming to California in September. He wants
Oh,
to meet up.
I
Um,
come. I'm like, invite me.
oh, I invited you to my party. I'm still waiting for you to fucking make that.
I put maybe. Okay. I
Yeah,
put
you put maybe. I want to see you there.
when is it again?
August 1st. Oh, fuck. Yeah, August 1st. Yeah.
I'm all everyone's invited. Please.
Everyone's invited, dude, to Project X, dude.
Oh my god.
I've
Uh,
invited your dad.
no, we don't want to bring that guy because then he's
Dude,
gonna
he's the man.
worry
Dude, I
about.
love your dad. He's so awesome. It's funny, like, I go to Vegas and I'm like, you're like, hey, where you at? I'm like, I'm kicking at your dad's house right now, dude. Like,
Do you remember that one guy from Vegas? He had a mohawk. God, what was his name? He was
Vlad Sokolov?
Vladdy Daddy. Yeah, I remember.
Vladdy Daddy, Vlad Sokolov.
You know,
Dang.
uh, Vlad and Damien, like, somehow we got into some pool party in Vegas, and, there was, like, a UFC or MMA guy there. He was hella short. What's his name? He looks like he looks like Barney Rubble from oh god, what was his
That's
name?
crazy, Barney Rubble.
I don't know, but anyways, that's funny. It's long yeah.
You said Vladdy Daddy and your husband's in the house. That's crazy.
That is so funny. I mean, he
Yeah,
wasn't
but
my dad. He wasn't my Vladdy Daddy. That's just what he was calling himself. I didn't
yeah, he did call himself Vladdy Daddy. That dude was the blackest Russian I ever met.
He's so funny. We had a good time. I that was a good memory. I have to give it up to Taekwondo though. Like deep down, like I have really good memories. And I'm gonna be honest, like when I train and stuff, I mostly do like kettlebells and like powerlifting and stuff, blah, blah, blah. All the boring millennial like midlife crisis shit you see on Instagram. In it. If it's a midlife crisis, I'm dabbling in it, okay? I'm doing all but no, like, I still kick and stuff, and I think I'm like, I like to kick, I like to punch, and you're like, "Oh, you should do boxing." I'm like, "Okay, maybe recreationally, but, like, I just I just like to hit stuff." And I will always thank Taekwondo for giving me, like, an outlet to do these things.
Well, I just want to see you beat someone up one more time because I know there's still that one more fight in you, but like
Do they have,
you're
like, an
just
old person's division? Because, like
no. I want to see you fight through the 18 to 32.
what is that?
18 to 32.
I'm
Let's
not
see.
32. Are you nuts?
Well, how old do you know?
I'm gonna be 36 in October.
God damn.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to fight, like what division is that? Like, old
Nah,
time
fuck
did they call
Ultra
it?
Division. There's no
Father
way I'm
ti
letting you fight
You're the
Father
father
Time.
time division.
Oh my god. Ugh.
I'll tell you what, though, I don't have any gray hairs. You see that? I know the podcast can't see, but, Asians don't raisin. What can I say?
Dude, you dye your hair.
I don't. This is not dyed.
No?
No, it is not dyed. This
Oh,
is
Beezer told me you color it every 3 months.
he's tripping. He's the
No,
one
I was
that
kidding. He never told me that. I'm
I'm
just trying to get his ass kicked.
I'll be right back. I beat his ass. Goodness. Well,
Yeah.
I was really nervous to come on the show. Thanks for having me. I mean, I don't know. I hope I didn't bore everybody with all those numbers, but I know it's something that I think should be talked about. So it just
No,
gives
and
power
it
speed.
it is something to be talked about. It's like, throughout the journey, again, like I'm really proud of you of, the way you come a long way and you're a good mother, good wife, good friend. You make a lot of great decisions in life. I just see you work hard all the time. The only bad decision I really see you make, and I hope you regret it, is just being a Raider fan because
Oh,
that is probably the shittiest fucking thing you could ever do. Like Raider fans are the scummiest fucking fans in the world. When football time comes around, you guys are horrible people.
all
Like,
right, Dad. If you're listening to this podcast, just remember when Sven wants to stay at your house as your like family, like friend, family member, remember these words that he said because He's
Your
gonna
dad,
fucking hotel at this point.
hey, I have my own code to your dad's fucking door, and also if I offer your dad a bottle of rum, he opens the door anyways. So
It is absolutely insane because one time my dad called me and I'm like, "What?" He's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm at home." He's like, "Oh, I'm with Sven at dinner." And he took you to the restaurant that I've been begging him to take me to because, like,
the
obviously,
Spanish one,
yes, I was like, "He's not even your kid." I'm like, "He doesn't even live here." I'm like, "He
dude.
doesn't live here."
We've gone there before with each other for like 3-4 times,
I know, it's sickening. It
and
makes me
then
pissed off.
one time I drove all the way from Idaho, and I said, "Hey, I'm gonna show up to the spot. Meet me there." And then we met there, and we drank and we ate, just me and Pedro. And you were just at home, just yelling at
Being a
kids,
yelling at
being a
my
mom, yelling at kids. But again, I am really happy that you came on the show. I know you were really nervous about it. You say the same thing everyone else says. I might not have nothing to say. I might be really boring. But look at you. You went in. We've actually probably been here probably over an hour already.
Yeah, true.
But it's always a great conversation. I'm glad you got your tequila in,
Mhm.
and stuff like that. But we'll get the family together soon. Hopefully, I do see you at my birthday party. It's gonna be a big one. Um, and you know, I can't be more grateful to have you in my life, in my family's life. So, and I'm always grateful for that. So,
I
I, I
appreciate
re-
you talk a lot of shit and people see this one side of you, which actually is like this Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of scene we got going on. I admire the father you are and how much, you respect your wife. You love Marty. I mean, you guys work so hard and it's reflected in how sweet your kids are. Like, kids don't lie. Like, both your sons are just a reflection of like the parents that you guys are. And I just want everybody who's listening to hear that, like, I know you joke around a lot and you're this funny person, but deep down, like it is really nice as your friend and refreshing to see like what a wonderful father and husband you are. And I just think that isn't something everyone carries, and people can be fun and they can be outgoing and good taekwondo athletes and this isn't that. But deep down to your core, are you a fucking good person? Are you a cool ass motherfucker? And most of the time, the answer is no. But you know, you're my friend, and you're my family friend, which to me means more than just a regular friend. And I'm really grateful for our friendship, and there's really nothing anybody could say to make me dislike you. I'd have to experience that on my own, and I've never experienced that before, so we're gonna keep rocking. We're family friends, we ain't just regular friends, we family friends, you know what I mean? So I mean, if I can make it to your birthday, I wanna come. If, um, Papa Pedro's listening, you might go watch your grandkids that weekend. You might have to watch my dog. I don't know, but I'm trying to get hooked up in LA with Sven and friends, okay? So
let's do it. Let's do it. The bar's open. You know where the party's at. And the drinks are gonna be flowing. I got already like 80 plus people.
that's awesome.
RSVP'd.
Is
You
Stephen
know,
Lynn going?
Stephen Lynn will be there.
I might have to go. How about Myra?
Myra will be there.
Okay, the party's growing. I have to go.
Ask me who else. Maybe someone else you might know.
That's all I would really how about Damien?
Okay, well,
Damien coming?
Damien will be there. Gus will be
Okay,
there.
a third person, and those are all the people that I know.
Yeah, and my mom and my wife.
I'll bring pickle juice for your mom, I didn't forget that.
Oh god, the pickle juice is crazy. Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah, but thank you. It feels good to hear that. You're actually. It's funny because when I spoke to Deireanne first, she out of nowhere was like, I gotta say one thing. I know you talk a lot of shit. She said the same exact thing you did, and she said, but you're such a softie, this and that. And it's funny that you guys had the same words because I'm glad you guys are best friends. You guys are great people. And, I did tell her if I could see one fight, I would have loved to watch you two go at it. That would have been popcorn all the way.
Well, you coulda saw it at your last birthday, but that dwindled down. So let's
Oh,
hope, the tequila is coming in at a smooth
hey, you
point.
know what? If it wasn't for fucking Don King fucking Bezo over there trying to start shit,
My husband don't give a fuck, and I'm like,
that he was laughing the entire time. You never talked to you like that.
"Mhm,
But
mhm."
yeah, she meant well, dude. She just had a little too much that night. But other than that, it's always a good time. thank you. I know it's late. You got to go to bed because I know you got to get up at like in like 3 hours for work.
Yeah.
Love you guys very much, and we miss the kids, and we can't wait to get everyone back together.
Love you too. I appreciate you having me. And last thing I'm gonna say is that, thank you, Taekwondo, for pretty much everything that it's given me in my life, like friends like you. And then the last thing I'm gonna say is that if you come to Vegas and you know me in Taekwondo, please hit me up because we're probably Instagram friends. Let's go get some drinks and let's go hang out. So that was my little shout out.
Oh shit, that's an invite for everybody,
Everybody.
everyone that listens. So, if you want to get her handle, go to my page. She's tagged. She's the one with the little galaxy picture on there that I made for her.
I
So
love it. All
shoot the
right.
DMs.
Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. You take care. Thank you.